From Budweiser Gardens. Now stop me if you heard this one. It's the Orangeville A's playing the London Lightning. We say good evening to you. This is Aaron Sanders with JP Justin Prince. JP, on paper, it looks like a really close game, but after seeing what happened yesterday between KW and London, a pretty much different story considering it was a grotesque game.
Yes, that was, to be honest, that was a very ugly game to watch. Just with that game in that first quarter alone, 16-12. London, I think, was pretty lucky to win against Kitchener-Waterloo last night, that's for sure. And then this is their third game in 3 days, London as well. And the third time in 8 days these teams are matching up. So that game last night changes a lot of things for tonight's game, that's for sure. Like, not just the exhaustedness of the players, but also the horrible shooting percentage last night overall.
Royce White fouled out earlier. It took a Marvin Phillips 3 to seal the deal in overtime. They won it by 5, but nonetheless, on paper, that's a win. We go over to the Orangeville A's, 11-15, third in the division. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. This past Saturday, they lost to London, 109-91. And this is their third meeting in 8 days, these two teams. How do you fare the Orangeville A's this evening?
I think they're going to be able to try and take advantage of the rest. I mean, having more rest than London, I mean. But right now, tonight, it's going to be interesting to see. You have to see how Raheel Hollis Jefferson, pardon me, there, as well as Justin Mosfear's off against guys like Royce White, of course, Julian Boyd, and so forth. It's going to be interesting. But the last time these two teams matched up, it was, of course, London dominating down at the Athlete Institute. If we're going to see the same thing tonight here London destroying Orangeville, Orangeville's going to be in a lot of trouble, not just as a team, but with their standings as well.
Let me break the lowdown for you in this season series, ladies and gentlemen. London leads at 3-1. I mentioned already, third meeting in 8 days between these two clubs, so they're getting comfortable with each other, that is for certain. London, they average 114 points per game against the A's. Orangeville averages 107.7 points per game. The average margin is 10.5. We might have another close game in our hand. What are the keys to the game tonight?
I think the keys to the game, for one, if you're Orangeville, you want to keep guys like Royce White, of course, and Julian Boyd out of the game. Try and get them into foul trouble or having the most missile shots. They also have to, of course, execute on their points right now, and take advantage of the distribution of the ball. They're second in the league right now in assists per game. Take advantage of that. Have a good distribution of the ball and continue to get good baskets. And third, of course, you got to fix things, of course, like the three-point percentage. London, one of the top teams, if not the top team, actually, in the league in three-point percentage. Well, Orangeville, if they don't keep up with the pace, might be in trouble. They're 32.6% as a team on the season from three-point land. So if they're able to keep up scoring-wise and keep their defense together against a fast-paced team like London, it's going to be a good game for Orangeville. As for London, of course, you, of course, want to try and keep your players rested as much as you can. They're going to be pretty exhausted legs out there tonight with our third game in 3 days. You want to keep your players out of foul trouble, and you also want to keep the points coming. This is a team that's leading in 14 different categories in the MDLC coming into tonight for a reason, and they want to win. They can clinch a playoff spot tonight here in the Central Division if they beat Orangeville. So this is a big game for the standings for both of these teams, win or loss, that's for sure.
It's pretty jam-packed considering how the playoff implications are. My only keys to the game, higher percentage shots. We don't want another 16-12 first quarter. Somebody got to come right out of the gate, and I expect a lot from Doug Herron Jr. Incidentally, Royce White is 3 points away, ladies and gentlemen, for scoring his 500th point in the league. So no question about it, he's going to reach that, but let's just see how he gets it. All right, Orangeville A's, London Lightning. John Van Halley and Chris Croucher on the call right after we take care of a little business of the national anthem, and then Mike Lohe with the player introductions. Stick around here, folks. We got a doozy here on Knoxville.tv.
And welcome, fans, to the Budweiser Gardens. Basketball battle between the Orangeville A's and the league-leading London Lightning. I'm John Van Holling, doing the play-by-play, along with my partner, Chris Croucher, doing the analysis and all that background work. Mr. Knowledgeable, I call him.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, Chris, what are you thinking you're going to see tonight?
Well, it's kind of been interesting how the Orangeville A's have been playing against the London Lightning in their past couple of meetings. Of course, the A's are missing Justin Moss, a huge part of their front court, and a guy who had great success against the London Lightning and was one of the few bigs who showed that they could match up with Royce White.
Yeah, that's a big loss for him. Tied for leading scorer and their leading rebounder.
He's easily been one of their best players for 2 years now. And I think what's going to be interesting, what the key to the game is going to be for the Orangeville A's, and I know we talked about him last time Orangeville was here in London, is Stefan Nastich. In the 126-122 game, in which London narrowly won by 4 points, it was close all the way, Nastich had 20 points in that game.
That's an awesome basketball name, by the way.
It was a great game.
Say that. But awesome basketball name, like Nastich. You can do so much with that as an announcer.
It rolls off the tongue. It's beautiful.
Go ahead. Yeah.
But going after the next game these two teams played, which was just on Saturday, Nastich only had 9 points, and you saw that gap widen. There was a huge difference in between the previous game and last game. And so for the Orangeville A's, I think one of the keys is going to be getting Stefan Nastich going early and often.
Yes, because where do their points come from without Justin Moss as well? They're going to have to find some secondary scoring, and I just look at some of the stats, team stats beforehand. Of course, London is on a roll. I think 19 of the last 20 games, I think they've won. Only one loss in the last 20 or so. Number 1 in offense, number 3 in defense. Of course, assists and steals are number 1 in the league. Like 27 assists a game for the London Lightning. That's amazing. And then I look down, and they steal the ball 11 times a game. Well, that translates to a lot of points.
Anytime the London Lightning are playing, the ball's going to be moving a lot, whether it's on their offensive end or if they're just taking it right out of your hands. That's one of the things that's really typified this London Lightning team all year long, has been absolutely maximizing their opportunities while adding to it with extra opportunities through steals. They force a lot of turnovers. They put a lot of pressure on a team when they're playing defense. And it's going to be interesting how Orangeville, they've got a pretty good point guard. Orangeville's going to have to come into this game and really take care of the ball.
Well, they have a new addition, right? Just before the deadline. I'm not sure how many games he's played for them, but that's, of course, we're talking about Daquan Cook, who is a terrific player, a terrific pickup for Orangeville. He's going to help them tremendously, I think, in facilitating their offense.
And he's also going to give them a front court presence in the lead up to Justin Moss's return. Right now, they're fighting for a playoff spot. Even though they're in third place, last place in that conference, Niagara, is not very far behind. And, of course, this year in the NBLC, you can be eliminated from the playoffs. You don't necessarily make the playoffs. Previous years, every team makes it. Not happening this year. So for Orangeville, I think it was a great pickup getting Cook, because it gives them that front court depth to go on down the stretch now. And not only do they have someone to make up for the loss of Justin Moss, but when Moss comes back, you've now strengthened that front court.
Yes, and looking at some of the individual stats, I've really noticed on the Orangeville A's how much impact Hollis Jefferson has on the team. Remember, he's scoring 19 points a game. He's their top scorer. He's also got top in steals. He's in the top 3 in rebounding. I mean, he is the all-around glue guy for that team. That really, to me, looking at Nastich inside and Jefferson the outside, those are the 2 keys for Orangeville that London probably has to key on.
I think Hollis Jefferson is really one of the better players in this league, too, because he's able to score almost at will at times. He's one of those guys who not only provides that offense not on a night-to-night basis, but on any given night he can go off for 30. He's not only explosive, but he's consistent too. And that's one of those things in this league. It's hard to find players who can be explosive and consistent. You have a bunch of guys who could have 30 points on one night, but the next night they have 5. With Hollis Jefferson, that floor is much higher, and his ceiling is just as high.
Well, he's definitely difficult to guard one-on-one. A very difficult matchup. And talking about that, of course, we bring on in Royce White, for instance, right off the top. Justin Aaron said, his first season, he's 3 points away from 500 points already in his first season. 4 triple-doubles, averaging double-double for the year. I mean, he really has come to the fore as a leader for this team.
and almost everything goes through Royce White's hands. You see at the top of the key about 1 million times in a game, he's going to get the ball there, and either he's going to do a quick pass right under the basket to a cutting wing player, or he's going to hit the guy for an open three. Because anytime Royce White has the ball, even if he's not moving it, there's usually a help defender coming, especially when he's on the inside. One of the things he's going to have to watch out, though, in that game against KW last night, he did get into foul trouble, and you can't really let that happen. A couple of those fouls we could discuss the quality of, but overall you have to make sure you play discipline because he's so important to this team. It's a good sign that they didn't fold when he came out of the game, but you don't want to constantly have to rely on guys to step up with White out. You want to have White be a part of that process.
Yes, and of course London has lots of depth, even on the inside and the big. We know that for sure, with Julian Boyd and coming off the bench, Marvin Singleton. Marvin Phillips. I mean, what a great pickup, halfway through the year, or a third of the way through the year for London, a returning all-star MVP player coming off the bench for you. So London has terrific depth. They're averaging 8 players in double figures. So the Lightning are leading the lead in scoring in all number of categories. I think they really need to guard against what happened yesterday against Kitchener Titans. A bit of a letdown, poor play, really undisciplined, a lot of turnovers, and let's see how they bounce back tonight. I don't think if I were Orangeville, I'm really looking forward to this, even though it's 3 games and 3 nights for London. I think they're going to be upset about the play from last night.
Yeah, I think London's going to be playing with a little bit of revenge in their minds, even though they won that game, which is the crazy part about this team this year. But Orangeville does have an opportunity here. As you mentioned, it's 3 games in 3 nights, 4 games in 5 days. London's pretty tired. 2 of those games were on the road, so there's a lot of travel too. This is a very rough stretch, but London isn't just going to survive. They're going to really try to fight here, and Orangeville better bring their A game, so to speak.
Oh, I like that pun. Really good. I love the name, Orangeville. Orange being my favorite color, of course. So I got to get this off my chest right away. I got to see my San Antonio Spurs in person, 10 rows up behind the Spurs bench last Saturday in Memphis when I was there on vacation. So
they didn't rest everyone?
They dressed everyone, but they lost. So the crowd went home happy. I went home sad. It was amazing how many Spurs fans were there, though. All right, back to the NBL and the London Lightning and all the excellent players that are here in this league as well. So starting lineups have been announced. Opening tip-off ready to go. So, 3rd game and 3rd nights for the London Lightning. Tip-off won by the Orangeville A's. So, straight up man-to-man for London Lightning. They don't play much zone that we have seen this year. It's pretty well all been a man-to-man this year, and most of the league is. You see some zone once in a while. Travel call that time on Jameson Tipping.
Yeah, I don't think Rick Bodiford's really happy about that one. He just tripped himself up there.
Okay, so that's Julian Boyd bringing the ball up top. Of course, Mr. Anderson, the leading 3-point maker and record maker also in the league. Big weapon for London Lightning's fast break on a turnover. This is Bodiford, stripped that time by Royce White. No foul called. Good defensive play on the transition defense there by Royce White. This is aforementioned Hollis Jefferson. That's a mouthful to say. Had a backdoor cut, but his teammate did not see him that time. Long 3-point attempt by Anthony Harris. Rebounded by no other than Ryan Anderson. Ball up top to Boyd. They do a lot of play from the top of the key, looking for backdoor cuts and isolating the inside if possible. This is Boyd. This is his bread and butter here. Makes a nice move going to the hoop. Nice block that time by Jefferson. He has the length to do that, even though Boyd's got the strength. Going hard to the hoop. Sort of took off on his wrong foot there, unable to convert. And this is Royce White.
Looks like he's hurt.
Playing the aforementioned, bringing the ball up as a point guard. Bodies his way all the way to the basket with a little finger roll.
Just a little too tough for Cook on that one. Again, Royce White, not only is he able to handle the ball, but he's got some bulk to him, so he can really bully his way to the basket.
And he always plays so much under control. It looks like he's going at half speed, but all of a sudden, there he goes. That should be a charge. That is a block. Must have been in the zone. Nice try by Julian Boyd. Good pickup there on that drive. That's going to be Anthony Harris from Orangeville A's going to the line for their first points of the game, hopefully.
You know, I've liked the look of the London Lightning. We haven't seen too much, obviously. It's very early in the game. But the fact that they're willing to go inside right now shows a kind of a change in perspective from the start of the year. They're really willing to play inside out, more so than they were even earlier in the year.
Boyd with the rebound and a careless pass that time by Anderson. Far too high for Royce White to get on the sideline. That's turnover, second turnover for the London Lightning. So Orangeville A's are battling for a playoff spot. Like you said, there will be elimination this year. Not all the teams make the playoffs, as you have said. So there's lots on the line for the Orangeville A's. We know that London Lightning are going to be in the playoffs for sure. And very unlikely that anybody will catch them in their division. They have such a big lead over Windsor, who only has 12 wins and are quite far behind in second place. This is Doug Herring, Jr. He's a starting point guard tonight. Junior Cadogan normally the starter, but he hasn't played many minutes the last couple games. We think he's nursing maybe an injury of some kind. Kyle Johnson also out there for the Lightning, along with Ryan Anderson, Julian Boyd, and Royce White. Jefferson on for Orangeville, along with Botifer. This is Doug Herring with a step back. A little short that time. Big rebound that time by Daquan Cook. One of the pickups just before the trade deadline. Here's Jefferson. Nice little bounce pass underneath. Good body control that time by Corbin Thomas.
That was an easy lay-in. That was a really nice little play there from the Orangeville A's. They kept their cool. London actually played some pretty tight defense there.
London with the ball up top. This is Kyle Johnson. Looks like Julian Boyd was open there, but he didn't see him. This is the big guy going to the hoop and muscling his way in off the backboard. Gets his own miss. Brings the ball down, which is not normally a good idea where the little guys can get it, but he gets hacked, so he's going to be going to the foul line.
You know, one of the things Royce White struggled with earlier in the year is making his free throws. And some teams, we haven't seen it a ton, but have gone with the, there isn't really a clever way to say it like hack-a-shack, but they've gone with a hack-a-Royce a couple of times in the year. But one of the things, he's been doing it better over the past stretch of games, so he's starting to make teams pay from the free throw line if they want to send him there.
Well, his fundamentals certainly are good for shooting, so I would think it's just a matter of probably of concentration. It's difficult to shoot what they call a free throw. Like it's quiet, dead quiet out there. Nobody's moving. You can't dribble it. You can't do a jump shot. You got to stand there and shoot the ball flat-footed, basically. And so it's not as easy as it looks. The good ones make it look easy, though. Turnover that time by Botifer. He stumbled on the floor, turned the ball over. It's going to be the London Lightning ball. Low-scoring game so far, and Orangeville with the lead, early lead, 6-4. See how long that stands up. Orangeville did do a good battle on Saturday night. It was a bit of a scrappy game, not particularly well played, but well fought, well contested, with London coming up just barely in the winning end, throwing a fire pass in the corner, and the skip pass, that's going to be over and back. That's a difficult pass for Hollis Jefferson to hang on to.
And again, sometimes London, they don't necessarily have to go high pressure, but you still feel that pressure because they force some difficult passes, and you almost see a guy open behind the three-point line across the court, and you make an ill-advised pass trying to hit him. And I think that's what we saw right there.
So 2 quick turnovers by Orangeville. London has not made him pay so far. Early substitution for Marvin Phillips, and a big slam! He gets into the action right away. Coach Julius saw something out there and made that quick substitution for Julian Boyd. Paid off right away with Marvin Phillips with the slam. Inside is Cook. Big presence inside, able to hold his own against White there. That's Jefferson trying to wiggle his way up. That's going to be a long shot by Botifer. Well short. Offensive rebound for Orangeville. A long three-point shot. That time, no other than Hollis Jefferson. And we know he is the all-around guy for Orangeville A's. If they can get him going, they're going to stand in good stead here. Nice step through that time. The hesitation dribble was Royce White, and he gets fouled again.
And you know, I'd keep giving it to Royce White right now. Until Orangeville shows they can cover him, why not just keep feeding him the ball? He's been your leader all year.
I don't see a real good matchup underneath. I know they have Cook on him, but he needs some help. But so far, I haven't seen the help coming in time. Too late, 2 fouls. Back to the free throw he goes again. This is his first one. So a quick substitution with Marvin Phillips. Interesting. He usually comes in a little bit later, and Julian Boyd is usually playing a little bit longer, as him and Royce White are a great chemistry on the court.
Phillips of late has been the strong player right now, though. He, of course, was part of the huge comeback there for the London Lightning. Well, not necessarily a comeback, but they were having trouble scoring in that KW game, and Phillips, a big part of that. He ended up solving the problems.
Makes the second one. Makes it a 9-7 game for Orangeville over London. Ball in the corner. Double team quickly by Anderson. The ball goes inside to no other than Corbin Thomas, unable to convert with his left hand. A little intimidated, I think, by Royce White that time. This is Herring Jr., assist leader in the league. Long three-point by Ryan Anderson, who's a three-point leader in the league. There's a lot of number ones on this team for London Lightning with the season they're having so far. Again, in the corner, that's Rick Bodiford, unable to convert. That'll be Orangeville ball on the tip out by Marvin Phillips. So Orangeville holding their own right now. The pace of the game, I think, suits Orangeville right now. Ball up top. Again, trying to drive on Phillips. That's going to be tough. A little under the basket. Scoop pass. He managed to hang on to it. This is Anthony Harris into the corner to Corbin Thomas. And a long three-point shot. And he buries it. Anthony Harris. So far, Orangeville shooting very well. 12-7 is their lead.
And that's going to be beneficial. Even if they don't keep this hot shooting up, they're going to be able to space that floor out. We saw earlier they're having troubles cutting the basket. If they keep making their threes, they're going to find some open lanes.
That's going to open the lanes up, is right. Ball foul away from the ball. That time on Anthony Harris, holding Ryan Anderson back. Anderson inbounding for London. Inside it goes to Royce White. He's posting up. Cook. He's so far able to hold his position on that possession. Says Doug Herring Jr. throwing a skip pass all the way across to Kyle Johnson, who we know can score a lot of points. Long three-pointer by Herring Jr. He matches Anthony Harris, his counterpart.
He was so calm considering that shot clock was down to 2, and he handled that just so relaxed.
Backdoor cut, nice play. Anderson turned his head. Harris made him pay with the backdoor cut. Orangeville executing very well on offense currently. Bit of a reach-in foul that time. Royce White with the ball up top to Herring. He's going to drive to the hoop. Gets bodied. Can he finish it? He can! He gets bodied by Daquan Cook. And finishes his play. The old-fashioned three-pointer.
Some phenomenal play from Doug Herring here. Of course, last game against KW, he led the team in both points, rebounds, and assists. This is a guy who's done everything for London. A lot of people, because he's been putting up such great assist numbers since coming to London, you almost forget the fact that before that, he was one of the best scorers in NBL Canada as a member of the St. John Millrats.
Definitely has that role here, but it doesn't have to be as significant or critical. He can share the ball here easily with 8 players in double figures. Of course, the ball is being shared. 27 assists a night for London. And he's doing, I think, 8.7 himself.
In fact, if the season ended today, Doug Herring would have the highest assists per game of any player in London Lightning history.
Wow. What's the league record? Any idea?
Not off the top of my head.
Not 8.7 or whatever I got written down here. Let's see here. Doug Herring's 8.1, sorry, is what he's doing. That's a lot of assists. That's NBA caliber. That's Tony Parker stuff. Come on.
That's 2.
That's 2, yeah. I wore my Tim Duncan shirt there. I thought
That's 3.
I thought I was going to get, a little bit pushback there, but no, they're pretty friendly down in Memphis. Good food down there, I tell you. My goodness. Never ate so much barbecue, pork, and beef down there as I ate down there. So 14-13, close game, 1-point lead for the Orangeville A's after this first timeout being called. So far not missing. Justin Moss so far in their offense. They're holding their own, are the Orangeville A's. do find the game a bit of a slow pace, which is not typically what we see here on the home court with the London Lightning. They're typically up and down the floor as much as they can, but Orangeville good on the transition defense. It helps that they're making their shots at a high percentage as well, so there's not very few or defensive boards to run a fast break on. So.
Yeah, I find a lot of the omens so far have been really in Orangeville's favor, though, because they had troubles getting the basket, but they made some threes. We mentioned that's going to open up the floor. All they've got to do now is play discipline. They sent London to the free throw line too much, and they matched London for turnovers. If they can get those two under control, they'll be in a really good spot here for London. London, you know, they're 50%. It's not a bad shooting night, but some of the shots haven't been of the most open quality. So for London, they're going to have to focus on getting some more open looks and not necessarily having to continue to bury their really contested shots.
Well, sort of a different night, a Monday night here. We don't have too many Monday night games here. And I'm not sure what our crowd is tonight, but it's a bit of a lower one on average for the London Lightning. Still a good turnout. I'm going to say probably, what do you think, 2,500? Maybe 3?
I'd give it 3.
3? I always underestimate. I found that out over this year. I make my estimates, and later on I look at the stats, and oh man, I'm off by like 1,000, 1,500. So that you know, it's hard to tell, but I think 3,000 would probably be fair. Yep.
They of course have the upper bowl closed, but both ends are relatively
open, yeah.
full here, especially the club seats over here.
First one missed by Hollis Jefferson. Makes his second. So a couple changes for Lightning. Looks like Joel Friesen is out, as is Garrett Williamson. Another guy bringing off the bench. Like, really? I say these names.
Canadian of the year.
Anybody that's following basketball or the NBL or, you know, these guys in their careers going, he's coming off the bench. You got to be kidding me. Phillips picks up the loose ball, unable to convert. Rebound by Bodiford. Got free will to get right to the foul line that time. It was too easy for Orangeville to get to the foul line. They're in. Not much resistance on the London defense. So we got the aforementioned Stefan Nastic in. See how key he is. He is matched up against Royce White if you're looking on the screen. They're both down inside, number 30 and 32. And Nastic is a true 6'11", and he gets his first rebound. So again, London is back on defense. See how easily they can get into the key this time. That time is Anthony Harris with the ball. Up the top to Jefferson. Screen set by Thomas. Bit of a carry there, but Nastic with a three-pointer. He knew right away that he wasn't going to get it. He followed it up right away. And Thomas gets the rebound. And here we're in the foul line again. A quick three-point shot in rhythm. Nastic with another offensive rebound. That's 2 in a row. This is Bodford, unable to convert off the backboard. 3 chances there. Orangeville unable to convert, but they are all over the ball. Friesen up top, getting some pressure from Jefferson. Jefferson's a good defender. He's got lots of length as well. Ball goes in quickly. Over to Marcus Capers, our first real look at. Good to look at him. And Joel Friesen. He's also in the top 15 in three-point made in the league. He gets beaten off the dribble though. Oh, that was way too easy for Anthony Harris. Friesen got caught flat-footed, leaning the wrong way. Harris blew right by him. Up top to Phillips, quick three-point shot. He was in rhythm. This is Royce White with the ball, keeping the ball up high this time. And now under the basket, over Nastic, and he makes it. One of the London players went flying off of White. That was Marcus Capers. I think he's going to have to get used to Royce's White presence in the middle there when he wants to crash the boards.
Well, that right there was just a big play by a big player. Again, we mentioned Royce White has that bulk to really battle inside, and Stefan Nastic, a very large player that Royce White was just sort of able to back down and really get his way to the rim. No one could really stop him.
So that brings it to a 1-point game. With this foul shot, they can tie the game up. 3:50 left in this first quarter at Budweiser Gardens. And Weiss, I think he's in a little too early that time. He knew right away he had missed, was trying to snag that rebound. In too early, and he's getting substituted out. This is pretty well the regular rotation, it looks like, for Kyle Julius with Royce White. So in comes Tony Criswell. Jefferson still on the floor. A first look at Jameson tipping. Not sure what was called there.
I believe it was an offensive foul.
Screen. Must have been an off the
It's going to be on
screen.
Nastich. It was the screen that was just a little too rough.
Okay. So up comes the London Lightning. Marcus Capers with the ball up top to Julian Boyd back in. Phillips is back on the bench. Nice backdoor cut that time to Williamson. He gets his own rebound. He's had to kick it back out. Friesen unable to get his three-point off. And looks like that should be a double dribble, but unless there was turnover that time, that's going to be a shot clock violation. That was I would call a swarming defense by the Orangeville A's.
I would say so. As soon as Joel Friesen had that ball, there was 3 Orangeville defenders. I think they might be a little lucky he wasn't able to kick that out. Talk about help defense. He brought half the team.
So 19-18 Orangeville A's up top. Also Larry Anderson in the ball game, number 13, if you're looking for the numbers and the names. Jameson Tipping's number 4 for you. Nastich, of course, we know already. Looking backdoor again, but he was not really open that time. Was Hollis Jefferson. Well covered that time by Criswell.
You know, Orangeville could have a much larger lead here, but they're just playing a little bit undisciplined. If they get that under control, this could be a dangerous team. But again, we've seen so many turnovers already in this game.
Ball swung out up top. Criswell standing there by himself. They let him shoot the 3. That time Joel Friesen gets the offensive board from the weak side and goes up with it immediately. And they are up by 1. This is Alex Johnson with the ball. Number 5 with the bright pink shoes on. If you're looking on the court, and into the big guy where I think it should go. That looks like a bit of a hold foul there. Unable to convert was the big guy, Nastich. London unable to snag the rebound. Lots of substitution now coming fast and furious for Orangeville A's. Jake Anderson in now for number 12. You're looking for his number. Back in the Nastich again. He's got the size. Can he put it in with the one-hander push shot over Julian Boyd? And he does. There's our first basket and result for Stefan Nastich.
And I think that's a mismatch they're going to want to keep going to.
I agree. If he can establish his position that far under, I agree. Julian Boyd with a 3-point attempt. A little bit cold, our London Lightning from 3-point right now. But Joel Friesen, the hustler, he runs down the loose ball. Second attempt here. This is Capers up top. Really screened by Criswell. Criswell was open but unable to get the pass in. Here's Williamson trying to be his man off the dribble. Got Nastich double teaming him. Throws it quickly to Joel Friesen. Looking for a foul there, but he did not get it. He sort of jumped in the defender.
Thought Tipping did a good job avoiding the contact, actually. He knew what he was doing.
Yep. Look at Nastich from the foul line in, no problem. Second basket for him already. They are starting to feature him.
And here's the problem if you're London, you have to defend him with Royce White, but you also can't let Royce White get in foul trouble, so you kind of have to keep that in moderation, and that's going to be tough to do.
Julian Boyd with the moving screen that time. He's going to get the offensive foul. 23-20, Orangeville up on the Lightning in the first quarter. 1:20 to go. Alex Johnson bringing the ball up for Orangeville. He's got Marcus Capers guarding him. It's Larry Anderson with the ball. Hands it off to Jake Anderson. I do not believe they are related from what I understand. This is Tipping. The shot. Good rebound by Criswell that time. Up to Joel Friesen, pushing the pace a little bit. See if he goes directly to the hoop. That's a reach-in foul by Jameson. That should be the 7th team foul, I believe. It should put Friesen on the line.
Sure will. And again, we talked about the discipline, the fouls. Now you're giving London extra opportunities. Orangeville could have a bigger lead. They've shot the ball well. They're still at 50% shooting on the quarter. But again, these extra opportunities they're giving London allows London to stay in it.
You sound like their coach. Like, we could do better, boys. We're winning, but we could be farther ahead. And the Lightning, I think, are just trying to battle to stay in right now, trying to find their feet, I think. Some tired legs maybe out there. They're going to have to find a second win. Alex Johnson pushing the ball up quickly. That's a lot of mismatches when you're trying to guard him. He is so quick. Maybe the only player who can stay with him is Capers on the floor, but nobody with him right now. That's a holding foul that time. Capers on Stefan Nastich. That would be a big mismatch.
Well, I mean, if you're Capers in that matchup, you really don't have a choice but to hold on.
Orangeville ball at the end. Tipping with the ball. Out to Nastich up top. Larry Anderson with the ball Tipping again up top. 7 seconds left in the shot clock. What's Nastich going to do? He's going to back his man up. This is Julian Boyd. He's got some size to him. A little too strong that time, but he got his shot off. No problem, Nastich. I think they're doing the right thing, Orangeville, bringing it inside. Criswell with the ball. Joel Friesen looking for not quite the last shot. There's about a 6-second differential here. Shot clock and the score clock. Friesen buying some time up top. Looking for the early screen. Little crossover dribble. That looked like a carry to me. Turnover, it ends up being and going to the hoop. Hard it is, number 13. Larry Anderson looking for the foul, but he never did get it. That's going to be a technical foul on tipping. That ball was still in the hands of the London Lightning player out of bounds, Joel Friesen. He knocked it right out of Joel's hand. That's undisciplined, like you said.
Easy call for the ref to make, too. Friesen was still trying to corral it.
Exactly. So that's if he buries it here, Garrett Williamson, that's going to be a free point. They may rue at the end of the day.
Again, it goes from a 2-possession game to a 1-possession game. You could have gone into the half with a 2-possession lead. I know there's plenty of game left, and the number of possessions doesn't make that much of a difference.
Yeah,
but
every possession counts. That's what the coaches always say, because you never know at the end of the game. If you're down by 3, you can look back at how many times if we hadn't done that, if we hadn't turned over carelessly or done that technical foul, which is all undisciplined kind of play, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's the ones with the least amount of errors that win, quite often.
And for London's case, they've made the least amount of errors, and that's what's kept them here.
Yes. What are we looking at? So it's still a fairly high turnover rate by both teams. It is a little bit sloppy. 6 and 5 already in the first quarter. And London's shooting percentage has dropped dramatically in the last few minutes. If I'm reading that right, 38%. Orangeville holding their own at 47.
And here's one of the problems we talked about fouls. London's had 9 free throws. Orangeville only 3 attempts because Orangeville's just sending them to the line that many times.
Yes.
And a lot of them are fouls that you don't really need to see called.
Yes, so I would say Orangeville has played fairly well with some undisciplined play, and they're leading by 3. London, I don't think the pace of the game is through their shooting. The shooting percentage is not great, but they're only down by 3.
And it's not often we've seen a team get London to play at the opposing team's pace.
Absolutely, that is so true. They are. I do feel Orangeville is imposing their style of play on the game currently.
So that's why if you're Coach Brendan Lisowski, this has to be, he doesn't have much hair to pull, but this would be making a coach pull
what's
a hair
his coaching
out there.
history? I didn't have a chance to look that up.
I believe he's coach at the Athlete Institute before this,
Okay.
which of course is one of the better basketball development programs in Canada.
Mm-hmm. Criswell inbounding with 1.5 seconds. See what they got set up. It's a lob ball in Julian Boyd with a fadeaway. Can he make it? Oh, it would look good. A little Akeem Olajuwon shot there, but not quite the touch. But that was close. Good play. 1.5 seconds left to have a decent shot at it. So 25-22 after the first quarter. John Van Houweling along with Chris Croucher calling this game for you. Hope you're enjoying yourselves and are able to put the names to the faces and to the numbers. Hopefully we can help with that. This NBL matchup between the Orangeville A's and the London Lightning. The Lightning have a terrific season going. They have a special team this year, and we have seen them lots. They have good chemistry. They have lots of talent up and down the lineup. A lot of the players on the bench will or would be starting on many of the other teams. Their record shows it as well. And the last 20 games, 1 loss.
Well, if they ended the season today, I know I'm dropping a lot of if they ended the season today stats, but for London, if it ended today, they'd have had the highest winning percentage in NBL Canada history. Previous record is also held by the London Lightning, the 2012-13 edition of the Lightning, who of course went on to put another banner in the rafters. So there's a good precedent for teams that win as often as the Lightning have.
Well, I do think London has a very good team. I'm not going to deny they have a lot of talent, but do you think the league is a little bit weaker this year overall? I look at the records in the Central Division. Windsor's the second place team. They're 12 and 13. They're under 500. I know that London has stolen a lot of the games, of course, because they only have 4 or 5 losses. But I look out east, not a lot of good records out there either. And the couple looks that we've had here in London with the East teams, they were pretty well outmatched by London Lightning. So what is your general impression? Maybe a couple special teams, Halifax and London. Halifax doing really well out east. St. John's doing good too, but as a whole, the league a little bit weaker this year?
I don't think the league as a whole is weaker. I just think the parity is a lot different than it has been in other years. I mean, you look at Halifax, how they're competing out east. I actually think St. John would give them a better fight, but of course they kind of did it to themselves when they got themselves a couple of different players suspended. Looking here in London and in the Central Conference, I mean, I think a lot of the teams maybe London went a different direction with where they added players. They went front court, whereas a lot of teams went back court. A lot of teams really focused on adding shooting, and London did the opposite. London added a lot of post players and a lot of guys who can play inside. So I think a lot of the teams now in the Central have made those adjustments. We've seen the A's bring in a guy like Nastich and Cook. We saw in Windsor, Juan Patillo coming in. I think a lot of teams in the Central are starting to make that shift to load up their front court to play against a team like the London Lightning.
Well, parity may be the name of the game, other than we think of the two teams that are playing very well in the league. So parity would mean a lot of 500 teams, which is what we're seeing. London Lightning with the ball up top. Criswell gets bumped and goes hard to the hoop. I don't know if that's going to be a charge or if he's inside there. That was a lot of contact. What's the call?
I think they're calling it a charge. Doesn't look like anyone's quite sure.
No, the referee didn't make the signal of a charge. He made the signal of a foul. That is Julian Boyd's foul, or Criswell's foul, sorry. Joel Friesen with some pressure up top. Capers comes for a double team, and he steps on the line, does Jake Anderson, under that pressure from Joel Friesen. It looks like London is trying to pick up the pace, putting a little pressure on in the front court. Boyd inbounding it to Capers. Friesen with the runaround with tipping foul on him. This is Garrett Williamson with the ball up high, trying to look for the screen from Criswell. Criswell does not roll to the basket though, and he rolls too late to get that pass. I think that pass was supposed to go to Boyd in the corner. Criswell held his spot. Here comes a double team again. Quick double team, and here comes Garrett Williamson. Reaches in with his hands. That's an undisciplined foul, I would call. Well, Williamson being subbed out this time. Doug Herring Jr. back in. We have not seen Junior Cadogan, so we suspect we probably will not see him tonight, even though he's not listed on the IR. That press, it gets beat bad. Nastich just parked underneath the basket for the easy flush. London Lightning not paying attention to who's behind them on that press. Capers again going the hoop, dumps it in the corner to Doug Herring. Steps back, still keeps his dribble alive. Inside to Capers, coming back door is Julian Boyd, unable to make that stretch reverse layup, and they get double teamed quickly right away again. This time Nastich is dribbling the ball. He gives it up quickly, which I think is a good idea to Larry Anderson. Anderson going hard to the hoop, and he gets the easy layup.
You know, we haven't seen London bring that full court press very much. I wonder if there's a bit of almost an unease of London defensively because they haven't done it a lot, leading to these open looks.
It's an open look for Julian Boyd. He does bury it that time on that step back. Allow all the time in the world to shoot that.
Yeah, and that's only the first points for the Lightning in this quarter.
Comes double team again, and that time they're trying to force him to step over the half line, but that's Capers. Just a little too active with his hands. That's twice now we've seen that foul bailing out Orangeville A's. That's good pressure, but you can't bail out the offensive player with reaching in. Tipping with the ball out.
London going back with what's been probably their strongest lineup over the past couple of games here.
So that means Royce White's in there, I'm sure, and he is. Kyle Johnson also back here. Nastich with the token screen that time. Anderson, well, that's tipping, sorry. Shooting the ball from long, unable to convert. This is Ryan Anderson with the ball up to their point guard, who is called Royce White. Doesn't make the reverse. Nice step over, though. This is Alex Johnson bringing the ball up as quickly as he can. In the corner, he takes a wide open three, unable to convert. The pace is picking up, or isn't it? Yes, Marvin Phillips gets on his horse and starts running the floor. It's Kyle Johnson. And now Doug Herring Jr. slows it down a bit to set it up. Early high screen from Marvin Phillips. He penetrates between the two. Looks underneath. Phillips bounces it off his leg. Unable to control it. Looking for somebody to pass it to. That time clock's down to 4. This is Royce White. He's going to have to put it up quickly up to Marvin Phillips. Time for a pass yet. Unable to put it in. Johnson throws it behind. number 12, Jake Anderson, had a free lane to the basket again. A lot of gaps in the London defense I'm seeing.
They may have these gaps, but Orangeville just kind of keeps, I don't want to say shooting themselves in the foot because it's not quite that bad, but opportunities.
They are letting London off the hook. You're right.
Yeah, opportunities they could pull ahead with just aren't happening.
Yes. And with the three-point shooting capability of the Andersons of the world, they can get back in the game real quick with this 4-point lead for Orangeville A's. I agree with you. They need to take every opportunity to build a lead against the London Lightning. We know they're the top scoring team in the league. At some point in this game, they're going to get hot. It takes a lot out of you, though, to come back all the time from lead after lead. So to be in the third game, I agree with you. Orangeville A's probably should be up a little bit more than they are. A little fake that time, and Anderson faked out 2 players. Nice hand off to Phillips for the easy finger roll.
Not sure what happened to Jamison tipping on that play, but he fell over, and that's what opened that up right there. Looks like he has something for the ref.
London in there. I think you're right. It looks like he's sort of walking a little gingerly there as well. So, ball handler is Larry Anderson with Royce Wright way out and three-point line guarding him. Marvin Phillips, he can do that with the luxury of Phillips behind him. Johnson taking it to the hole, a little hesitation, throws it off the top of the backboard over the much larger opponent, and in it is. Back to the 4-point lead. Doug Herring Jr. with the ball to Marvin Phillips. I think Orangeville doing a good job slowing down London Lightning for the most part. This is Anderson with the ball. He got tipped that time. The ball got hacked that time. No foul called. I didn't think there was one. And he had to throw up a wild shot. A quick three-point time, but a follow-through foul on Ryan Anderson. Another undisciplined foul. We're seeing a lot of that tonight.
Yeah, we've been kind of hard on Orangeville for the undisciplined play, but London hasn't exactly been having their most disciplined game either. In fact, they actually have more turnovers than the Orangeville A's right now. They just haven't been committing the fouls that Orangeville has.
Orangeville at the line with a 4-point lead and converts his first. And makes them both. Oh, that's right. He was outside the three-point line. I've forgotten about that. That's right. That was a quick three-pointer shot, and then the follow-through foul by Anderson. So he does make all three. And that's Jake Anderson I'm talking about. Herring Jr. with a quick three. He's going to get it all back in one shot. No, he isn't. This is going to be Orangeville's ball. They're looking to push the pace a little bit here on London. Doing the same what London would love to do to Orangeville, but inside they go. This is White putting lots of pressure on Daquan Cook, and that looks like, will that be the chicken wing foul?
Yes, the chicken wing foul. Put the arm around Royce White to try and get around.
Yes. 33-27, 6-point lead for Orangeville. High screen set top. White rolls back down under this Joel Friesen. Taking the three. We know he can make those. This is Anderson. Quickly into the corner it is for Jake Anderson, and a follow through that time. Unable to convert was Larry Anderson. Trying to keep the two Andersons straight here. I think there was a push-off foul there, but I'm not sure what that call is. That travel call on London?
That was a traveling violation off the rebound.
Okay, thought maybe they're going to call a pushing foul there. There's a three-point shot, flat-footed and going backwards. Low percentage that time by Larry Anderson. Throw the ball in top to Royce White. And Anderson a little frustrated, I think. Thought he had gotten fouled underneath there earlier. And unable to hold off Royce White for that lob pass, and he gets his foul. I think it's his first team foul, third on Orangeville. So Julian Boyd is back in for Marvin Phillips. Great 1-2 combo when you got to do for substitutions. This is Doug Herring Jr. with a much smaller Alex Johnson on him, and he pushes the ball around and gets hacked by Johnson because Johnson knew there's no way he was blocking that shot. And that will be a shooting foul.
It's a good IQ play there from Doug Herring Jr., recognizing the mismatch that he had there.
Well, I always give a lot of credit to the person passing it to him as well, recognizing it, right? Obviously, London recognized it as a team right away.
Well, that's going to be a mismatch London can go to as long as Johnson's on the floor because, of course, Doug Herring being the point guard, he's going to be the guy primarily that Johnson has to cover.
Going the other way is a difficult problem, trying to cover
Yes.
Johnson with his quickness. Yeah, Herring makes them both. This is Johnson with the ball up top. Herring trying to stay with him. He gets into the key. And again, a little fade back. Unable to convert that time. I would say that time Royce White was holding Daquan Cook down. So that's a foul on Royce White. It's his first foul of the game, which is good for London Lightning. He has been averaging nearly 4.5 fouls a game.
And as we saw in Kitchener last night, it does become a problem for him.
And there's a foul called this time. Is that going to be on Royce White again?
I think it might have been.
Nope, that time Joel Friesen on the reach-in and the inbounds pass. White was in the mix there. Tipping trying to throw the ball in. Throws it high to one of my favorite names, Enrico Di Loretto. Gets the ball inside. Nice ball movement. Johnson up top. Wide open look. Unable to convert. This is what I love about London's rebounding. Royce White gets the rebound, and then he becomes the point guard. This time he turns it over, though. Johnson able to hold his defender off and takes it high to the hoop. It is a big advantage when your rebounding guy can push the ball up the floor like a point guard. Didn't pay off that time, but it has many times for London Lightning. This is Kyle Johnson with the ball, throws it out into the corner. Freezing, quick rotation. Julian Boyd going hard to the hoop. And the partying of the Black Sea. Julian Boyd for the easy layup.
He got it right back.
He did. Can he convert? He does right away. Doug Herring Jr. 2 quick baskets by the London Lightning, cutting into this lead. 36-33 for Orangeville A's. A little payback here. Nice hang time that time by Larry Anderson. And a quick steal by Tipping. Careless pass to half. They're going to try to do their own 2-for-1 here if they can. Unable to convert. Tipping did steal that ball.
Just a little bit of hectic play there. Jeez.
Kyle Johnson with the ball. Again to Capers with the mismatch this time. Backing him down just like you said. And good footwork, and off the backboard it goes.
And again, on this 3-game stretch, Doug Herring really has been one of the best players for the Lightning. He's doing it again here tonight. 8 points in the game already. Pardon me, 10.
Control that time by Johnson to Di Loretto. Driving the lane, looking for the contact. He gets contact. Unable to convert with his left hand, but he's going to the line. All right, just under the 6-minute mark here is already, I think, 18 fouls on London Lightning in this quarter.
It's been a lot. Both teams not being very disciplined, as we mentioned, consistently throughout the game, but at least for London, you can kind of find some solace in the fact that you haven't been sending them to the line, whereas the A's have been sending London to the line. Not so bad this quarter, but it really did hurt them in the first quarter. London shooting only 38%. That's actually up from where it's been all game. So London's starting to get their bearings just a bit.
I'm very impressed with Orangeville A's defense tonight. They really have scrambled and putting London out of sync, what we can see. They're not really shooting what I would say are set plays. Looks like a lot of it's scramble shots, last minute or one-on-one shots for London Lightning, and give that all the credit to Orangeville A's for that as well. Turnovers, you're right, 11 and 9. Oh my, 20 turnovers already, and we're only at the halfway mark for the second quarter. Lots of team fouls, 23 team fouls already in this half.
You got to talk about Doug Herring Jr. I mean, he was phenomenal in that game against Kitchener. One of the only guys you can really say had a strong game. Of course, he led the team in each points, rebounds, and assists in that game. He had the double-double, 15 points, 10 rebounds. And he really has been a key pickup. And it's hard to believe that a guy who's won Player of the Week could be kind of an unsung pickup. But I really think when London picked up Marvin Phillips, London, of course, had Royce White at the start of the year. There's been a lot of other pickups that got a lot more attention than Doug Herring, but none have been more important during this 3-game stretch than the point guard, Doug Herring Jr.
Well, considering Junior Cadogan's been out, limited playing time and not playing tonight, somebody needs to step up, is right. And he's played significant minutes as a backup role. It's really hard to say backup role sometimes because they play so many equal minutes. It's just really the coach's preference who's going to start, really, each game, so depending on what he wants.
Well, Coach Julius has mentioned before, this is way back to when we were when Windsor beat London. That was the first game all year he felt like there wasn't anyone who was going. And I think for London, that's kind of the benefit of their depth, is any given night, they've got someone who's able to step up and get the team going. And it's been Doug Herring Jr. more often than not lately.
Well, tonight he's keeping them in the game. They are not sprinting ahead at the moment. Here's Boyd going to the hoop, looking for a little bounce pass underneath the white. He's got lots of smaller players on him. He's going hard to the hoop. He draws another foul. That's at least the 4th foul he's drawn, I think, inside when he has the ball. And
Earlier, Jefferson really talking to the ref about that one. He's not sure why he got that one called.
Yeah, Jefferson sat quite a bit that second quarter. He's back on the floor now. Hollis Jefferson, number 24, if you're looking for him out there. And Royce White back to the foul line again. Unable to convert. They're down by 5 for the Lightning. 5.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Give all credit to Orangeville A's. They are really holding the highest scoring team in the league in check currently. Unable to convert the second one, but Boyd gets the rebound. Hands it off right away to his counterpart, Doug Herring Jr. There's White up top, guarded by Nasic. That's going to be a mismatch on speed, not on size, but Nasic has to go out and cover quickly. The ball gets rotated to Boyd, unable to convert that time. He had made his last one, but not that one. It's Enrico De Loretto up top. One-on-one against Julian Boyd. A little foot speed mismatch that time, but De Loretto brings it back out. This is Johnson, Alex Johnson that is, looking inside. Double team quickly. That's Larry Anderson bringing the ball out to De Loretto. He's a good shooter, and he makes it. Now, did he play in Windsor? Is that where I remember him playing?
De Loretto played at University of Windsor, and
yes,
he, of course, was also with the London Lightning 2 years ago.
That's right. That's why his name is so familiar. Hollis Jefferson kicks the ball in the corner to Anderson. Nice hands that time by Ryan Anderson to pick the pocket, unable to keep it. 43-35. Orangeville up by 8. I don't think anybody really expected this to be an 8-point lead for Orangeville A's. Maybe close. The highest offense in the league is struggling right now. Orangeville is playing well, going to their main man. Hollis Jefferson with a little step under him that time. Anderson stayed with him, but just again, that undisciplined reach-in with his hands causes that foul. He had done a good job of forcing Hollis Jefferson to the baseline with nowhere to shoot it but behind the backboard, then reaching in with his hand. So Larry Anderson played well. He's going off. Substitute in. Back with the starter, Corbin Thomas. Able to convert, uncharacteristically for here Hollis Jefferson. That name does sound familiar, I'm sure, to many out there. Royce White, the ball to Kyle Johnson. Haven't heard much from Kyle Johnson tonight, other than handling the ball a couple times. He can score, we know, but it has not been featured tonight. Hasn't been really looking to take his shot either. He's looking inside to Anderson, boxing with Alex Johnson. That's a huge mismatch. And this time, Nastich comes quickly over to close off that drive by Boyd. Ball kicked out way out to Doug Herring Jr. Had no choice. Shot clock was down. That was way past the NBA three-point line. Ernie De Loretto, a little stutter step, throws it in the corner. All the time in the world. Can he convert? No, he can. It's Hollis Jefferson. London pushing the pace a little bit this time into the corner. This time, Kyle Johnson looking for a shot. A little bit of a fadeaway. He makes it. Falls flat on his back.
Beautiful jumper there from Johnson. You do not want to let him get going. Of course, hit 51 points in a game earlier this year. Not a guy you want to have get hot.
Nice pick and roll that time between Alex Johnson and Stefan Nastich in a little floater. Tony Parker floater. Sorry, I can't help myself. I'm still excited about being at the game last Saturday night. So Anderson set up for the three. Yes! You get time like that, he's going to bury it. Mr. three-point leader in the league and the record setter. I think it was 13 threes. I don't know if that was, am I right? One game?
I'd have to look that one up.
I think it's 13. You'd probably quote me on that. Nasic, another pick and roll again. Easy take to the basket. Every time Nasic's been on the floor, and I don't find he's played a whole lot today, but been very effective. He's looking for the foul that time, unable to get it was Johnson.
Made a smart move, not just tossing it up. As soon as he realized he wasn't going to get it, just got rid of it.
That time, a little ball rotation that time. Boyd didn't stay home for Anderson to give it to him. Good help defense that time by Nasic on the drive.
And they've really forced London into a lot of late shot clock situations.
Yes, there has been a number tonight. You're right.
And London's a team that likes to go quick. So it's not often you see them let it drip down that long. But Orangeville's forced a lot of difficult offensive possessions by the Lightning.
48-40, 2.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Orangeville doing a good job staying with the Lightning and staying ahead of them. Drive to the hoop, little floater, nice play that time. That Corbin Thomas took Boyd right to the hoop. Doug Herring getting lots of playing time currently. He does have Alex Johnson still on him. Loretto has Kyle Johnson. That might be a hard one for him to stay with as well. A little bit of a handoff and a steal by none other than here, Hollis Jefferson with the slam, and Kyle Julius calls a timeout looking for the foul, but I think that was a clean pick that time on Ryan Anderson.
I agree, and I think this timeout here is just a slow momentum because Orangeville, we talked about if they clean things up, they can pull away.
Well, guess exactly what they're doing.
They clean things up.
I totally agree with your analysis earlier. They have to build on this lead while they can, because London is just too potent, too good to be kept down for an entire game. Can they build a big enough lead and sustain their lead when you know inevitably London's going to make the push? And like we said, it is 3 games and 3 nights. That big push, if it's not enough, may take it all out of London Lightning in the second half.
And we've mentioned that when these two teams meet, Stefan Nastich, when he has a strong game, Orangeville usually puts up a stronger effort. Right now he's leading the team in scoring and rebounding, 10.7 rebounds, and we haven't seen him play a ton of minutes, and that shows the kind of impact that he has, especially against London, for a lot of reasons, mostly matchup based. He's really been not quite kryptonite, but he's been tough for the London Lightning to handle.
Reference. Very good. A little kryptonite. Superman, Supergirl fan.
Which is interesting because Superman's actually on the Orangeville A's, Alex Superman Johnson.
Well, that is right. I'd forgotten about his nickname. That is like really just over the top of that. That's great.
See, we can't call Nastich kryptonite because you can't have him on the same team as Superman.
No, that's true. But he's London Lightning's kryptonite. I got you. It looks like the Lightning have their starting lineup out again. I'm just looking on the floor. Not quite the starting lineup for Orangeville. They've been playing a lot of their players. From what I can see, this is the London starting 5. This is Royce White up top. Massey's backing off on him. White prefers to take it to the hoop and not do the jump shots. Trying to do the underhand scoop. The old man underhand scoop. I love it.
That's a YMCA move right there. That's a YMCA move.
I'm really good at that one. So it's not a necessity, of course, right? So, a little bit of contact got to him. DiLoretto in the corner. Unable to convert that time. He had a wide open look. Big battle with Boyd, saving that ball to Anderson. White bringing the ball up again. Behind the back pass. Good thing Herring was ready for it. Taking Nastich to the hole. Can he do it? He kicks out in the corner. Kyle Johnson, he's got it going.
Right now, Kyle Johnson's dialed in. London's had a bit of problems getting some shots to go, so I'd just be feeding Kyle Johnson right now.
Good timeout call, I think, by Orangeville. London's starting to feed off of that and wants to put a quick end to that energy that London's feeling.
And the crowd was starting to get into it, too, and just like that, we saw what was the start of a roar immediately go right back down, so good timeout there.
Absolutely. 52-45, 7-point game now. It was 12 just a minute ago. Well, Orangeville, I'm looking down at the lineup here. I'm not sure if I haven't seen number 31 Slim McGee. I did see anything on the notes about him being injured or anything, but I haven't seen him play. And I believe every other player on this list I have has seen the floor. And remember, off the top, we said no Justin Moss. 19 points a game, 9 rebounds a game, and he's not in there. And they're doing great, are the Orangeville A's.
Only 2 players on both listed rosters actually haven't touched the floor. Marvin Singleton on the Lightning being the other one. So
that's right. And just looking up and down that list as well. Caper, Junior Cadugan, of course, we know is likely hurt. And Marcus Caper had played a few minutes there. We haven't seen him since his first rotation.
Yeah, I think he's still working his way back to game speed. Of course, he had to miss a couple games after he made his debut due to a family-related issue. And he's back now, and they're going to have to try and get him up to game speed in time. And
he hasn't played all season, right?
No, he has not. He played on Thursday, and that was his first game.
Yeah, so he's got a long way to catch up.
Gonna stop things here. Looks like a beer spilled on the court or something.
It does. One of the fans on the side. I don't know if it's a beer or just a soft drink, but it's wet down there, and they're going to need towel guys to clean that up. So 52:45, 1 minute and 11 seconds, 1:11 on the clock. 17 seconds left on the shot clock. Orangeville A's ball. They are up by 7. London Lightning searching for some answers. To their credit, they haven't played real well, but they've kept Orangeville within striking distance. They don't let them get too far ahead. 12 been the largest point margin. Back down to 7.
It didn't really stay at 12 for very long. London did a good job of responding, but we talked about the energy and how that timeout kind of sucked the energy out. Now you've got this even longer delay with the cup spilling, so I mean, things going really well for Orangeville off of that timeout.
All things going right. But like we said, London's never out of any ball game, let alone a 7-point lead. They can score in a hurry. Kyle Julius, we know he's a great coach on the fly. He makes lots of adjustments during the game. I'm sure at halftime he'll make some adjustments, and we'll see what comes in the second half. So up top, down to 9 seconds of shot clock right here. Jefferson throws it in. Side to, well, that's Corbin Thomas. That was a bullet pass. I'm surprised they hang on to that one. He does. It goes up, gets body slammed, going to the foul line.
There's some wide receiver mitts right there to be able to handle that
was
one.
A really hard pass, sort of a last second pass from Hollis Jefferson in the air, nowhere to go. Makes the foul shots, up by 9. Royce White taking it to the hole. He gets bodied that time by Stefan Nastich. Just a little too much body is right. He has drawn, I'm trying to keep count of how many fouls he's drawn as White. That's at least 5 for sure he's drawn in the paint.
Part of the reason we haven't seen a whole ton of Daquan Cook is because he's had to sit on the bench. Royce White got him in foul trouble early.
Jefferson with the ball up top. Nice dribble penetration. Uses his length, unable to convert off the backboard. And a big battle going out, and London comes up with it. Everybody fighting hard for the ball that time. And good hustle back by Jefferson that time to stop that pass on the wing for a wide open look for Ryan Anderson.
Almost ran right out of the hockey rink.
Is he back yet? Oh, there he's coming. There he finally goes. Back on the floor. Good hustle.
Was worried we might have a Bo Jackson right out the gate type thing there.
I didn't think you're old enough to know all those guys. You must do a lot of reading.
I'm a sports guy. I'm a sports guy.
That's right, yeah. White up top, handing off again to Anderson. Last time it created a turnover, but not this time. Anderson's quickly back to White. He's taking it to the hoop. He had all the time in the world. Just over top of 2 guys with his left hand, which is his offhand, by the way. Puts it in. Down to 7 seconds, 5 seconds left. What's he going to do? Drives to the hoop. Little floater, unable to convert. Is that going to be a charge? It is. Sort of a late call, but Julian Boyd was in the way for that drive that time.
We saw him try that earlier in the game too. Didn't quite work out that time, but Julian Boyd sticks to it. Makes a real nice defensive play there.
A quick foul that time. I'm not sure why that foul would happen there past the limit for team fouls. There was no foul to give. He's going to be going to the line. Percentage would be low for a 3-pointer from there, so undisciplined move that time by Orangeville. 0.2 seconds left. My goodness.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about.
Sort of reminiscent of the Vanderbilt game there. I don't know if you saw it.
Yeah.
I saw Vanderbilt play actually last weekend, or 2 weekends ago in the SEC tournament. And they have a great team, great shooter. So that was an unfortunate play for them.
I didn't feel too bad. Northwestern, first time in the
tournament.
Well,
that's true. I like Northwestern too. Both teams I like. So down to 3 points after all that, back and forth. That almost knocked out the shot clock, that last second effort by Jefferson. He has a sort of a wry grin on his face after that. But it's only a 3-point lead. Orangeville over the Lightning. London Lightning, after all that back and forth, turnovers, runs, three-point attempts, fouls, it's all 3-point lead for the Orangeville A's. So I'm John Van Houweling, along with Chris Croucher, calling this game from the Budweiser Gardens. We will come back to you after the halftime.
Cover safety in style and comfort, like the London Lightning with Bannock.
Thank you, John and Chris. 54-51 in favor of the Orangeville A's. Many of these Budweiser Garden crowd is surprised that for the first time the Lightning are trailing at halftime. We're courtside, and JP, a lot of props getting to the Orangeville A's crew, especially the backcourt, but they really came out guns a-blazing. They're taking advantage of London's tired legs.
Indeed, right now, because Orangeville is taking advantage of that, because London's struggling with shooting right now, struggling to get rebounds, down by 3 rebounds to Orangeville, and they're allowing the bench to go off for Orangeville, 28-11, a lot of those points in paint. Right now, those 3 games in 3 days are really taking a toll on London right now, because you can see with some of the shots they've been taking, usually shots they make wide open in some cases are heading to the front of the rim. You can see the exhaustion and the frustration in how they're playing in that exhaustiveness. But right now, they rally to get within 3 points here at the end of the half right now to keep it close. That is the one positive, I think, out of that first half for them right now.
And I'll take your benefit of the doubt for that. Number one, London is trying to play Orangeville's game, which is something they haven't done before. Well, number two, despite the fact they are trailing, they trailed by as much as 9 at one point, but you've seen them trying to force contact to draw fouls, and they're shooting unnecessary shots from the 3. For example, they're shooting 29% from the 3, but 45% from the field, which is kind of mind-questioning considering how their game has been going so far.
Yeah, right now that field goal percentage went up in the final minutes. In fact, it was around 42% until they closed the gap to 3 points here. But this team is the #1 field goal percentage team from three-point land for a reason. And right now tonight, they're just not shooting like they have been the whole season, partially because of that energy right now. Right now, Orangeville is in the same boat right now with the 3-16, but this is not what you expect with some of the shooting with London. Right now, you got to figure out a way to give themselves an energy boost coming out of that locker room if you want to win this game. Because, of course, it's a must-win, I think, for both sides. London because of securing the playoff spot so they can relax for the rest of the season. Orangeville because if you lose this game, you're in a tie for 3rd with Kitchener-Waterloo. So right now, it's going to be a lot of adjustments, that's for sure, from both sides coming out of halftime.
And Orangeville so far is dominating the paint, outscoring London 30-24 in the paint. Doug Heron Jr., like I mentioned at the top of the telecast, that he has to be a very consistent player to keep this London Lightning team going on, scoring with 14 points, and that's pretty much the guy that has been cutting out all the slack for the Lightning, keeping them going and rejuvenating.
I agree with you. You hit it right on the nose in the pregame, that's for sure. Because right from the get-go, he has been keeping this team in the game. Without him, I don't think they're going to be this close right now. Because Royce White, yeah, he has 13 points. He's also 3 of 8 from the free throw line right now, which is kind of hurting them as well. Along with that, 10 of 16 overall for London. So right now, Doug Henry Jr., I don't think without him, London would even be close in this matchup right now. And I think they should, at this point, give him the hot hand right now in this case. Because he is making his shots, getting to the free throw line, 5 of 5 from the line, and getting good production overall on what has been an exhausted team overall for these past 3 days.
And if you're working so hard to draw the contact from especially inside, you got to make those free throws because that's what's killing the Lightning so far. Out-of-town score. We go to the Moncton Coliseum, and the Moncton Miracles for the second time in 2 days have defeated the Cape Breton Highlanders 127-111. And one thing to point out, JP, 10 total players have hit double digits. 5 from Cape Breton and 5 from Moncton, respectively. But the game ball has to go to Malik Story, who dropped 25. A very good statistic, especially for this Moncton team that's trying to capture that last playoff spot.
Indeed, because they've won the past 2 straight matchups against Cape Breton to move themselves out of 5th into 4th place. And part of the reason for tonight's win was the 51 points off the bench from Moncton. 55, pardon me. This was a scoring outburst from Moncton. They started the game down 10-3 with Cape Breton starting a red hot, but took it from the 6-minute mark, basically. So they just took the momentum they needed to have to move and help secure 4th place a bit more and ran with it. If they keep playing like that, they're going to be playing in the playoffs in May and June, that's for sure.
And they took off right in the middle of the first quarter, and they never looked back. So now they have nowhere to look but up, and their winning streak possibly with no end in sight if you beat a tough Cape Breton team like that, who has been suffering for a little while. So keys for the second half. If you're Brandon Levosky's Orangeville Ace, what do you do to keep this lead and give London their second loss here at Budweiser Gardens? I would assume keep the play in the post and play more aggressive and take advantage of the leads.
That was exactly what I was thinking, actually. Try and get players in foul trouble, try and tucker them out on defense, and drive in that paint. They have that points in the paint advantage. They have the advantage overall in points on turnovers, overall in everything right now. So if they can keep London pretty much exhausted on the defensive end, it's going to help Orangeville in the long run, because if you're tired on the defensive end, you're tired on the offensive end, which will make missed shots for London, which would make it harder for them to score. So right now, you hit it right on the nose. That was exactly what I was thinking there with Orangeville, that's for sure.
On the other side, the London Lightning, Doug Herring Jr. is on his scoring chair right now, 14 points. Do you keep him involved and allow him to take the responsibility to drive inside and score those easy buckets, because that should have been the point right at the get-go? High quality shots.
Yes, I think you should keep going toward giving him the ball for those plays, that's for sure. But I also think you need to have a second player involved in this offense, other than Royce White with those 13 points. Yes, that's a good amount, but like I said, the free throw percentage is hurting them from the field right now. So I think you have to get somebody else involved in this offense along with Royce White, and especially Doug Herring Jr. In case Doug Herring Jr. has to go on the bench to rest or whatnot, or struggles for a certain period of time, because if he misses some shots and London has no second option producing at the same rate as him, they might be in a bit of trouble. So we'll have to see what kind of adjustments they make to adjust with this offense right now, struggling, it seems, at times, to this exhausted play and lethargic play at times right now in this first half.
And they have to find a very powerful 1-2 punch, like you mentioned, JP, and they got to come up with it fast. They're down 3. Of course, anything can happen in the final 24 minutes. London Lightning, they find themselves in an unfamiliar spot, trailing at Budweiser Gardens. That does it for the Nordstrom halftime. We'll see you folks at the Nordstrom postgame. John Van Houweling and Chris Croucher will return with the call for the second half, but we'll be back for more action right here on Nordstrom.tv in a moment.
looked it up. We know the two names. We're going to say it right now. We looked up the two names. We're good. Okay, you ready? And welcome back, sports fans, to Budweiser Gardens. I'm John Van Holling, along with Chris Croucher. We're not going to reveal our ages. I think somebody was inquiring about that, but we'll let you figure out who the younger and the older one is. So, 54-51, Orangeville A's over the London Lightning. 3-point lead. A couple things stand out there. I see Chris. Me, what stands out is Orangeville has more assists than London Lightning, who lead the league in assists. 27 a game. I'm so impressed with that. And London leads the league in steals, but they only have one steal in that half. Is that a sign of tiredness, you think?
Yeah, I think it's just a bit of slow hands, and I think the fact that Orangeville has 6 compared to London's 1 steal shows slow hands dribbling too. I think they are being impacted by the amount of games they've had to play in a short stretch, but at the same time, this is one of the better teams in the Central you're facing. You gotta be ready for these guys tonight.
Okay, so we're back in the second half. London does have lots of depth, so let's see if they can get their work ethic up and their pace of play. Orangeville has dictated the pace of play. Fadeaway jump shot that time by Daquan Cook. Make sure we're saying them all correctly. We appreciate your feedback out there, fans. We did a little bit of homework at half, so let us know. Up top, foul away from the ball.
Just a little too much rough stuff under the basket there. I think it's going to be on Bodiford.
Okay, so first team foul already here, first 30 seconds of this half.
Should apologize, that was actually a foul on Hollis Jefferson there.
And that would be Raleigh Hollis Jefferson. And I believe those are the two that maybe we mispronounced. Our apologies. Anyway, no reflection on the player. They're terrific players. So here comes Orangeville with the 3-point lead yet. 2 turnovers back-to-back, one by each of the teams. This is Anthony Harris. We're wondering how London really kept this sort of close. Nice. At a 3. No, it's a 2. Stepped in. We know Orangeville made a couple early threes, but I think you were saying at halftime their percentage for threes was quite low.
Yeah, they made about 2 3-pointers on the first 4 or 5 possessions, only 1 the rest of the way, 18% shooting beyond the arc.
Wow. And we know London's percentage is a bit higher, but they made their 3 points late in the game, in the half, to get back into the game. It's another turnover by London Lightning, uncharacteristic. Let's see what they got here in the second half. Orangeville can take him to the mat and pin him down for the win. Bodiford taken to the hole. Nice hands by Doug Herring Jr. Does he throw it ahead? He does. Julian Boyd, great body control. Good hustle there by Hollis Jefferson. Try to stop that drive, but he puts it in. Good fast break. I know London likes to play that way if they at all possibly can. Bounce pass in the side, and this is up top. Corbin Thomas with the ball, driving to the hoop. He slices right through. Does Anthony Harris. No resistance that time. We've seen that a number of times tonight from the London Lightning. Not closing off those lanes. Anderson kicks the ball out, and that dribble penetration. Julian Boyd, a nice follow through. Oh, White's way over top, maybe over the back, but he really wanted that rebound. Johnson takes his hand at a 3, unable to convert as well. Competition for that loose ball. Orangeville A's coming up with those loose balls mostly tonight. Again, going to the hole with his left hand, unable to convert. Slightly tipped, I think, by London Lightning that time. Here comes a slow-paced fast break. And Anderson, yes, even though that ball was tipped in the backboard, it went in.
Well, I mean, if it didn't go in, I think that would have been a goaltend there.
Absolutely.
Luckily for Anderson, it still sinks.
Well, you can take it off the rim, but it's got to be hit the rim first before you can touch it. And that had never done that. And that was a fast break led by none other by Royce White. No wonder he gets all those triple doubles, leading the ball up. We know he can score and can rebound, but he also can bring the ball up. Good pair of hands. Looks like a holding foul that time on Daquan Cook. A little frustrated, I think, by that reach-in steal by Royce White.
And this is not the way you wanted to start this half if you're the Orangeville A's. London had a bit of a run at the end of that second quarter, and now coming into this quarter, the crowd's right back into it. You've made a couple of plays here, and now you've got Daquan Cook picking up his 4th foul already in this quarter.
That's his 4th one. Oh, wow. Good eyes. I did not see that. He is a big part, especially when they're missing Justin Moss, as we mentioned earlier, off the top of the show. See if London can take advantage of it. They're within 2, 58-56. So Lightning ball on the side, waiting for the refs to get their ducks in a row here. They're all set to go with the shot clock. Fully reset at 24. Doug Herring Jr. gets significant playing time tonight in the absence of Junior Kadubin. Kyle Johnson looks like a moving screen, I believe, on Julian Boyd. That was Corbin Thomas trying to stay with the shooter, and he was impeded illegally by Julian Boyd, who is upset. And
that's going to be Boyd's fourth foul, too.
Substituted as well. You are right. That is Criswell. Well, there has been an inordinate number of fouls, I thought. What are we looking at when we do the totals here on team fouls?
The total team fouls right now are 13 for London, 19 for Orangeville. But London's got Boyd at 4, Ryan Anderson at 3 fouls. They're in some trouble. And, of course, Daquan Cook on 4 for Orangeville.
Time the ball behind Jefferson. He's got trying to post up, gets double teamed. Hard to the hole goes Cook. He gets hammered. He is still out there, though, playing. No substitution.
But that foul, I believe, is going to be on Anderson.
That will be his fourth, you're saying? You're right.
Yep.
Wow.
Just like that, two of the better players, period, for the London Lightning have to go to take some time on the bench.
And so Friesen's coming in, and Garrett Williamson also looking to come in. I'm not sure who he's coming in for. Definitely Boyd sitting already. And now Anderson sitting, and Kyle Johnson sitting. So Coach Kyle Julius making liberal substitutions, some by necessity, and some at his discretion. Daquan Cook misses his first one. I think it's a team that's going to keep their composure and impose their will on the flow of the game that's going to win this game, I think. Garrett Williamson with the ball. Looks like a little faster pace. Doug Herring Jr. brings it out into Royce White, backing down, trying to draw that fifth foul. Daquan Cook has to be careful. He does a good job of challenging that shot, unable to convert. And he's running the floor, and he gets hammered. I think Criswell was going for the ball. That's not an intentional by any means. It was a hard foul. Daquan Cook, he goes slamming to the floor. He's not complaining. He's a tough cookie.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Take it.
I'm happy to see the refs didn't give him anything more than a shooting foul there. Criswell, just a very tough play. But Daquan Cook playing some great minutes, and I think there's a reason that we see him still in the game despite those fouls. And that's because they kind of missed his presence on the inside. They missed that crasher and banger, and they missed that energy. And I think that's why Orangeville's decided to keep him out on the court despite the 4 fouls. Especially now you've got Julian Boyd, who's got to sit on the bench. You got a little bit of foul trouble for London, too. You can take advantage.
Quick fast break, nice up and under. That will be a goaltending call. Great up and under move by Garrett Williamson. That time the ball zipped down the floor for the London Lightning off that missed free throw.
That's that kind of burst I think we've been missing from that team in the first half there.
Yeah, we said that. They looked a little slow. This is what we normally see London playing at a pace when they can. Jefferson, top. Swings the ball outside, good pump fake, steps inside the three-point line. That was supposed to be a law pass inside, I believe, to Corbin Thomas, but he had turned his head expecting the three-point shot from Anthony Harris, who was wide open for the jumper. 2-point ball game, 4 minutes into the second half. Doug Herring Jr. with the ball up top. He's been their primary ball handler most of tonight, calling out some set plays. Friesen driving to the hole, kicking it back out. Hardly had anywhere to go. He's almost in trouble. That time Garrett Williamson throws it in the corner to Joel Friesen for the step back, but that was not really a high percentage shot. Good rebound that time by Thomas. Jefferson being patient, throwing it inside. 2 smalls against each other, and he just forced it up. Bodiford did against Friesen. He had more time than he thought. This is Criswell with the stutter step. Faked himself out.
Yeah, just a couple too many stutters on that stutter step.
Well, turnover rate quite high, I find, tonight. 16 and 12. 16 turnovers to Lightning. More than their assists, which to me is, or 17 turnovers. More than their assists, which is always a bad sign. So Thomas up top. Throwing the ball inside. They're featuring Cook this time. Unable to hang on to it that time. Sort of loses his handle. Garrett Williamson pushing the ball to the hoop. Little spin around. Nice defense. Good step in. The ball falls to London. Doug Herring Jr. sort of fortunate. That was good defense by Orangeville shutting off that drive. A little physicality there with Doug Herring Jr. He's against a much bigger player, against Cook, and he just was holding Cook.
Again, when you're that smaller guard, it's hard to do anything but just hold on there. And Daquan Cook, we've seen him have an impact in this half already, and that's part of the reason we still see him in this game. If you're London, you might want to start going inside when you get the ball and see if you can get him in a little bit of trouble, because right now he's making a pretty significant difference for the A's.
Backdoor cut, unable to convert. Reasons, fast break going on. Big size difference, and a slammer! I thought it was going to be a step over layup, but that is a slam dunk. That is a timeout called by Orangeville. It's 62-60 for the London Lightning.
Well, listen to that crowd. Listen to that crowd.
We haven't heard them all night. Orangeville has kept them out. Have not let the crowd get into the game, but here they are now, making some noise.
I think it's really been big, that crowd. I think that was a good time out there by Orangeville, because London, for the longest time, have not had the lead. They're finally back in the pole position right now, and I think if you're the Lightning, lots of good things happening in that half, but you cannot rest on your laurels. They're showing that burst they had, and I think we're going to see a lot of rotations to make sure they keep that energy throughout the lineup.
Well, I think it's a good timeout call by Orangeville. It's early, though, so you're using your timeouts early, but
you never want to be the first one to call it.
Yeah, London was poised, it looked like, to make a bit of a run. 62-60.
We talked about the disparity between assists and turnovers at halftime, and it goes to show London's tied that number up now. They have the same number of assists to turnovers, and I think that shows they've been moving the ball a lot more too, because when you get that energy, you can feed it through the ball. You can move that energy around with the ball, and that's what London's been doing right now. And we see that both on the court and on the scoreboard.
Yeah, the last two turnovers by Orangeville, they made them pay dearly of the London Lightning.
I think one of the uncanny stats, it's just kind of a weird one, London has the exact same amount of rebounds, offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds as Orangeville. They're exactly the same number in each category.
I'm looking at that. You're absolutely right.
I don't think I've seen that one before.
So they are evenly matched tonight so far. Is London poised to make a run, or can Orangeville withstand this mini run here by the London Lightning? Anthony Harris with the ball up top. It's now Bodiford. There's Raleigh, Hollis, Jefferson up top, waiting patiently for something to develop. Anthony Harris runs all the way around to get that ball, but has no open shot. Dribbles it off his foot. And Royce White steals it, and again takes his time and hard to the hoop. Reverse back. Off the backboard is Joe Friesen. And again, another quick hitter by the London Lightning. Up by 4. Royce White out to hedge the guard. Quick turnaround into the corner to Bodiford. Cook sets the screen, a little pick and roll, unable to hold on to it because Friesen was holding on to Cook. No wonder he couldn't get the ball. That's 5 team fouls already for London Lightning.
Really the only criticism you could hold for them in this quarter.
Yes, I agree. Other than the first 2 possessions where they're turnovers.
True.
Since that time, they've been pushing the ball hard, playing defense hard. Nice jump shot. Nice and smooth by Hollis Jefferson. I think he can get that shot anytime, and he should be using that a little more often, I think. Nobody really can match up with his height on that jump shot. The blocking foul that time. Doug Herring Jr. strong with the ball.
That was kind of a tough one for the ref because Herring did have the arm out a bit. Good call, though.
So Anthony Harris, that's his 3rd foul. Substitution coming in. Looks like Jameson Tipping coming in. Bodiford going out. Quick.
One more.
Looks like Alex Johnson's coming in as well. Who's he coming in for? So the 2 guards get swapped out. Bodiford and Harris for Johnson and Tipping. Ball on the side. Garrett Williamson inbounding to Friesen. Up top. Guarded by Jefferson. Into Garrett Williamson. He can shoot the 3 as well. He likes to drive it though. Kick it back out. Leaving White alone on the 3-point line. He doesn't like to take those 3s if he doesn't have to. It's Doug Herring Jr. A little bit of a reach in by Johnson, but takes him to the hole. Unable to get it off the backboard. A little bit rushed because of the shot clock. Johnson with some speed. Tipping up top. Looking for a little weave play up there. Again, nice crossover dribble. Loses the handle again, does Jefferson. Again, the jump shot. That's a nice looking jump shot. A little too strong that time. Williamson, good recognition that there's somebody on him. And Royce White trying to save it. He's underneath the basket. Good swarming defense. Hustle back on that transition defense by Orangeville that time. So 64-62, 2-point ball game. Still lots of physical play underneath there. Cook is still in the game. Looking for the back door for Johnson. He fakes it. Goes to the hoop. Puts it to the left hand. Unable to convert. That was a sweet play.
But one of the problems we're seeing from the fouls, obviously London's committed too many fouls in the quarter. But what gave London problems was when the pace slowed down. And when you slow down, the legs start to feel just a little bit heavier, and you don't want that to happen right now. The fouls slow it down. And as long as they're taking shots as well, that's going to make it a little difficult for London to keep that energy that they've been building throughout the quarter.
Well, Orangeville done a good job taking it down the lane into the basket tonight. We've seen a lot of dribble penetration, taking it right to the basket. London a little slow reacting, closing off those lanes. He makes both of those, does Daquan Cook. Tie ball game. Joel Friesen pushing the ball up, and it looks like a foul off the ball on Johnson. Williamson hustled down to get his post. Johnson just pushed him right out. He's got a big grin on his face knowing that. But the only thing he could have done with a much bigger man.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but Johnson usually would be covering the point guard, Doug Herring Jr. there. Not sure how he ended up having to cover Williamson.
Friesen right off the pass, and hits that three.
Joel Friesen's had a pretty hot hand over the past couple of games. I'm glad to see he continues it tonight.
Yeah, I like his play. He plays hard on the defensive end. Some clutch, timely plays, and a good three-point shooter as well. Great addition for Lightning. Tipping in the corner and being hounded by Williamson. Switch off to White. This is Jefferson up top. Almost wanted to step in and take that shot. It gets the shot off because he saw the shot clock, and he goes after his own boards. Unable to convert because he gets blocked out of bounds, I believe, by White, who looks like he's a little bit hurt in the sideline there. But sort of a desperation shot. He was able to get it off with Jefferson and got his own rebound, but it got blocked. But it is going to be Orangeville ball with 21 seconds left on the shot clock. So Phillips coming in, and Capers coming in for White and Criswell. And here comes Nastich, Stefan Nastich.
It's a pretty small lineup out there for the London Lightning.
Yes, you're right.
Considering Orangeville went big.
Ooh, that's a lot of physical contact with Marvin Phillips and Nastich. That ain't going to get you anywhere there, Marvin Phillips.
I don't think Marvin wanted someone backing him down there.
Well, that's already so many team fouls on London. Orangeville's going to the line. The game is slowing down. I think you're right. This is absolutely in Orangeville's favor. They're down by 3 now and need to convert their foul shots. Unable to convert that first one. Makes his second one. Closes a 2-point game. Doug Herring Jr. did stay on the floor. Phillips is on there as well with Marcus Capers. That's a hard screen by Phillips. He's already in the referee's eye for the physical contact down the other end with Nastich. I don't think they took his eye off him when he did that screen and knocked the Orangeville player right to the floor.
As tough as it was, I don't think Phillips added any extracurriculars to that at all. I think it was just a tough screen.
Johnson with the ball up top. That's Doug Herring's match for defense. Friesen guarding Jefferson. That's quite a handful to do. He's a bit outsized. Jefferson definitely go out. That's swung in the quarter, tipping. Able to hang on to it without going out of bounds. He's backing his smaller man down. A little bit of a fadeaway step back, and he gets the friendly roll.
Yeah, they actually ISO'd as soon as Tipping got the ball there, recognizing he had that matchup over Herring.
Marvin Phillips with a stutter step, no travel, that's good. Doug Herring Jr. with the 3-point shot, unable to convert. Nastich with the rebound. Tie ball game, 3:42. And a fast break, no, good defense, but he did not take it strong to the hoop. I think an unnecessary reverse that time by Anderson. Just Garrett Williamson up top, trying to go to heart of the hoop, and he's able to keep his physical presence, but unable to put the ball down. The ball rolled off the rim. It looked like it was in there. That was a good rebound that time by Capers. A travel that time by Williamson. Tired feet, tired minds, maybe.
Been an awful lot of travels on London in this game, compared to what we usually see anyway.
Yeah. Well, we've seen lots of games here with the London Lightning. For those fans that watch it online, maybe you're not seeing the Lightning because it's not your home team, but Orangeville doing a good job keeping them out of rhythm. Tipping with a long three-point shot, and he makes it. Did not know he had that long three-point in his arsenal, but he does. They're back up by 3, Orangeville again. London looks flat. Friesen always plays with lots of energy, and that's tipping. Sort of unnecessary contact after the whistle there because there's no continuation.
It's all right playing with a tech. He might not want to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Not that I think he'd get a tech for that, but I wouldn't want to take my chances either.
Exactly. Well, there's lots of familiarity, of course, with the teams. Like London's played Niagara like 8 times already. I think they're done with Niagara now, but we're going to see lots of DAs and lots of Windsor, I believe, in the next few weeks. Phillips with a three-pointer. Unable to convert either. Good-looking shots, open looks, but unable to put them down. Are the Lightning. See if Orangeville can make them pay. Johnson throws it in big to Nasic, unable to hang on to it. But he gets his post position back. That's a bit of an elbow, I would say. That was a travel on Nasic, but a bit of an elbow in the Marvin Phillips face there, I saw. The referee could have easily called that as well. It's going to be London ball, down by 3. Crowd's quiet again.
Well, I think we talked about the pace slowing right down. We've seen a lot of turnovers in the past couple minutes. We've seen, just a really slower game overall.
Looks like they're doing the old matchup again with Johnson and Doug Herring Jr. He's going to try to take it down. Nassie's coming over to help him. Oh, a little underhand scoop. Beautiful play.
He wants a foul too, and I think he has a case.
I do. There was a lot of body contact there, but they gave the benefit of the doubt to the little guy, I think. Johnson throws it in the corner. Tipping made his last 3, and unable to convert his second one. A big rebound that time. That's Jefferson with the ball. A little behind the back pass to the big guy. Not ready for it. Not a real good idea. A little off target that time. They need to make sure their possession's there instead of the flashy show. The lob attempt was just too far.
Well, I mean, Coach Julius put his hands right to his face after that one. They really needed some points there. Get that lead back. Unfortunate for the Lightning, unable to convert. I think you want to take care of the ball a little bit more right on that possession.
Like I said, you need the fundamentals, like Big Fundamental says. San Antonio, Tim Duncan, right? Behind the back pass, big guy who isn't ready for it. Unnecessary lob pass, not on target. 2 wasted possessions. DiLoretto going reverse. Nice control with White right in his face. Played a little fundamental basketball, both those possessions, that both teams would have scored, I think. Friesen with the ball up top. Garrett Williamson, he's got the mismatch with DiLoretto. Inside it goes to White. Looking for a little contact, but Nassau just stayed up straight. That should be offensive, I would think.
Great play by Williamson, getting those feet into position while on the break like that. Excellent defensive work.
I agree. Larry Anderson had nowhere to go, and he knew it. He put his shoulder down and just tried to see what he could do. So a bit of a herky-jerky game, if that's a word you remember at all. Goes back and forth. This team plays good for 3 or 4 minutes, and the other team imposes their will. No real flow to the game, I don't find.
Even the pace of the game, it's been fast, slow, fast, slow.
Absolutely. Royce Wright taking it to the hoop, little spin move, knocks the big guy down, and then too strong, but Phillips gets the rebound and gets held. I think Royce White was expecting a little more opposition there and just let the ball go a little too strong, but Nasic flat on his back. I don't think you see that often.
I think Nasic was trying to pull the chair on him just a little bit and try to throw it off.
Yes. The old Chris Webber trick. He always used to do that. You following the March Madness at all?
Yes, I am.
Are your brackets as busted as everybody else?
It burst into flames after round 1.
I'm last in my family pool, I don't know what to say. My wife's on top. All the other boys that are in it are going, how's that possible? My mom's on top. She won it last year, too. Oh, well. I'm so-called the basketball expert, and I'm last. But, yeah, it's been March Madness is right. Completely crazy. All 7 of the 8. There's no 9 out of 10 ACC teams are out, right? I think only North Carolina
Something like that, yeah.
That's unbelievable. Well, I'm pulling for UCLA, so see what happens. Okay, 72-71, Orangeville up by 1. Enough digression on the March Madness. We got some madness here at the Budweiser Gardens. Alex Johnson with the ball up top. Nassage with the big screen. DiLoretto, he didn't take the 3. He's trying to go to the hoop again. Nobody there for the under the basket pass. Gives it up, does Doug Herring. Good body control and able to avoid the contact. And there's another fast break. Whenever we see that, London seems to spurt ahead by a little bit.
And just like that, Orangeville again slows it right back down. A little bit of a chess match going on here late in the third.
15 seconds left. 11 on the shot clock. 1 second differential. Alex Johnson, quickest man on the floor with the ball. What's he do? Trying to go to the hoop. That's a travel, I look like to me, but got away with it. Still 3.5 seconds to go. Does he have enough presence of mind? He gets off a good-looking shot. Ooh, he just misses the rim, but it was the right distance. So after all that back and forth scrapping, teams trying to figure out each other, 73-72 for the London Lightning after 3 quarters. So Orangeville is in it, doing their best to keep the game at their pace. London Lightning, every once in a while, when they show that energy, that burst, they seem to sprint ahead with 2 or 3 baskets and reclaim that lead. But even though I think their biggest lead has been 3, I think, for London Lightning. 12 has been the biggest lead.
4 is the highest for the Lightning.
And 12, I think, for the Orangeville A's. 1 point lead.
It's kind of been weird because that was actually one of the faster-paced halves, or quarters, pardon me. But believe it or not, that was the lowest scoring quarter of the game, and that just shows you how much of a difference in terms of pace of play it can make when you've got 2 teams this close together and score. And the London Lightning doing a great job battling and forcing some difficult shots for Orangeville. Orangeville, I don't recall a single look by them that really looked clean. And I think London did a good job challenging the shots. We're seeing the downside. We mentioned the floor spacing earlier. Orangeville's gone long enough without making their 3s that London doesn't need to honor it as much as they were earlier in the game. So now when Orangeville goes in deep, down into the post, there's more defense ready for it. And I think we've seen that in terms of their difficulty scoring in that third quarter.
Well, just looking at the stats page over your shoulder there, look at the steals now. It was 6-1 for Orangeville over London in the first half. Now it's 8 steals for London.
7 steals in a quarter.
Yeah,
7 steals. That's crazy.
That's part of the big difference where London's staying pace with Orangeville, but not pulling ahead by any means. And assists, still more turnovers than assists for London Lightning. 21 turnovers. Oh my goodness. 19 for Orangeville. Both have more turnovers than assists, so a bit of a sloppily played game, we might say. I would say contested quite well, but.
And we talk about depth being one of the big things with these 2 teams, but it's actually been leaning on a player that's really given London this lead. Doug Herring Jr., 20 points already in this game. And then you've got Royce White at 15. Those guys have done the bulk of the scoring for the London Lightning. So even though London's got great depth, they've got guys who are really stepping up right now. And as for the Orangeville A's, you still have nobody over 11 points for them. That's Nastich at 11 and Anthony Harris also at 11 for the Orangeville A's.
They kept Hollis Jefferson in check for the most part, have the London Lightning.
Now, last time Orangeville was in London, it was the 4th quarter that Hollis Jefferson really stepped up. He did that alongside Justin Moss. Without Moss here, we'll see how he does.
It's Friesen getting lots of playing time tonight. Here's White going the whole little step over. We would call that a Euro step, but Nash is big enough to block that off. White unable to convert. He's missed his last 3 close-in attempts, actually. Right to the hole. Those are the Orangeville A's. And that is Larry Anderson. Again, no resistance from London. Orangeville straight to the rack that time. Quick 3-point shot from Ryan Anderson, who's been off with foul trouble. Unable to get on track so far from the 3-point line. The best 3-point shooter. Again, straight down to the hole again. That time, Williamson able to recover and block that shot, but he had a free lane again. This is White. Nassage never got his feet set. Some body contact. I don't know if they're going to call that a shooting foul in his motion for layup or not. Yes, he is going to be shooting too.
Really bailed out the London Lightning too. Royce White very challenged going to the rim. He had Enrico DiLoretto right on his tail too.
Yep.
I mean, if Nassage just goes straight up and down, there's a chance DiLoretto pulls the ball out of there.
A little struggling tonight from the foul line has been White, so that's been helping the Orangeville A's. Not sure what he's shooting so far is White from the foul line.
He's 3 for 8 from the foul line. Make that 3 for 9.
So there's at least 5 or 6 points sitting on the board there that London could have buried. They have not made Orangeville pay for all those fouls that White has generated. Again, misses second one, but that time Anderson able to get the rebound but unable to convert. And Phillips gets another offensive board for London Lightning. Shot clock reset. Friesen up top with the ball. White with the big screen on DiLoretto. Swings the ball over to Phillips. I think they're trying to get Anderson on track as far as I can see what they're doing. He has a big mismatch with Johnson. He should be just shooting it right over top of him. And the finger roll leaves it short. Here comes Orangeville on the fast break. Tipping. Patiently brings the ball back out. That's a reach-in foul, absolutely, by Anderson. He can't afford that. He already had 4 coming in.
Yeah, that's going to be his 5th foul. He's probably going to have to come off here.
We haven't seen Kyle Johnson back on the floor either. He's not in foul trouble. Coach electing to go with this lineup. This is Nash. He's backing down White. Little turnaround that time, but White did a good job staying underneath the big guy. This is Williamson doing the step over and able to convert. Yes, that was a tough layup. Look at some leadership from one of the leaders on the team, one of the veterans, Garrett Williamson.
That's a beautiful play there from a former Canadian of the Year, Garrett Williamson. Just with that finesse around the basket, and he has that sense of no matter where he is on the court, it's almost like even if he's got his back to the rim, he just knows exactly where the rim is compared to where he is, and just has that touch to finish those plays.
Nasic in way too early. He's going to be able to reshoot that. That's the second time tonight we've seen that. London getting to reshoot their foul shot. It's not like the NBA. You can go in as soon as the guy has the ball in his hand. And Williamson makes them pay. They're up by 2. 10.5 minutes left in the 4th and final quarter. Johnson with the ball up top. The tipping. Nash is coming up high, right on him. Puts his hands right on him. That's definite foul. I don't understand what was happening there with White. Why did he put his hands right in the middle and push him like that? He's not going to beat him off the dribble penetration.
No, and slowly but surely, Royce White finding himself in foul trouble. That's his 4th in the game right now.
To me, that was unnecessary foul. And no call, and Nastich. Nasty, and talks some smack down the White after that as well. The referee's not picking up on that.
Nastich still yapping, and he's lucky that he didn't get a foul there for the way he towered over Royce White.
Nice play by Anderson, but unable to convert. Did the right thing, going right into the body. Here's a fast layup by DiLoretto. Enrico DiLoretto, and all of a sudden Orangeville back up 2, and some emotion on the floor by Nastich.
Yeah, London smart to take this time out here. We've talked about how momentum swings have played such a big part in this game. Anytime there's been any sort of a shift, immediately the Lightning or the A's are calling a timeout.
Well, it all started with that unnecessary foul, I thought, up top with Royce White. Nastich outside the three-point line, no threat. Not going to beat him off the dribble, and I'm not sure why he wrapped his arms and pushed him. And of course, they fed the ball right back into Nasic, which is a wise thing from Orangeville. The referee's eyes are on White. And sure enough, inside he goes, slam, and then the talk started.
And I understand White trying to draw the charge, but it wasn't really a charge. I'm glad the refs didn't call that one. But Nastich, lucky he didn't get a technical or anything. You're not really allowed to stand over a guy and yap at him. I mean, you look at other levels of play and it's just not allowed. So
no, I'm an old school guy and I don't mind you slamming it if you got talent slamming over me and you happen to land over top of me, but then I would expect you just to walk away and, and not continue on standing there and say things. To me, that's sort of poor sportsmanship. But yeah, I know there's a lot of trash talk goes on in the NBA and in college, which I've never been a big fan of. Let your play do the talking. Help the guy back off the floor with a smile.
Yeah.
Right?
It's one of those get you next time type things.
That's right.
Bench scoring a real big part here for the Orangeville A's. 42 points off of their bench.
Yeah, they played a lot of their players just pretty equal tonight from what I can see. Everyone's sort of contributed in their own way. Coach going with whatever works. They're back up by 2 again, Orangeville. They are hanging in there and they are battling. And really, their playoff lives, are sort of at stake here. London Lightning are for sure in for the playoffs, we know.
I know they're not too worried about it at this point, but London does actually clinch a playoff spot if they win this game.
Well, that's going to happen in the next game or two anyway.
Oh, I'm sure it will.
Boyd back on the floor after his foul trouble. He gets hacked by De Loretto, I believe. That should not be a shooting foul, I do not believe.
I think it is.
Oh, looks like he started his layup, so they're going to give it to him. I thought he had not even picked up the ball quite yet. Still dribbling it. They gave it to him. 2 shots for Julian Boyd, who's probably cold coming off the bench. He has not played much because of foul trouble. And he is a big contributor.
And I think everyone at home is really going to want to keep an eye on the foul trouble as the game goes on. Anderson, White, and Boyd. Anderson has 5. Boyd and White have 4 fouls. And then on Orangeville, you've got Harris, Tipping, Nastich, and Cook all at 4 fouls, and Alex Johnson sitting at 3. So lots of players in some sketchy foul situations here.
Lots of time to play as well. 9.5 minutes to go. Tie ball game. Got a good ball game going here at the Budweiser Gardens. I'm John Howling along with Chris Croucher calling the game for you. Hopefully you're enjoying yourselves. Nice little dump off pass to the big guy for another slam. And no trash talk that time. Just let your actions do the speaking. Nice play that time by Orangeville. This is Williamson in tough. Or I should say Johnson in tough with Williamson. Trying to guard him, and Williamson goes to the basket. They're doing the right thing, taking it hard to the hoop and stopping the clock. Trying to push the ball, get to the basket as quick as they can. So Williamson at the foul line. White back in again. Phillips coming out. I think Coach just took out White to cool him down a little bit, so that nothing flared up between him and Nastich, I think.
Well, if I'm Orangeville, I'm going to give it right back to Nastich down low. You've got 2 players with 4 fouls sitting in London's front court. And for that matter, London's got, looking at Orangeville's front court, 2 guys with 4 fouls as well. So it should be an intriguing situation. If one of those guys picks up a foul, you might be opening up something inside.
Going to be a war of attrition. You like that?
It's great.
Yeah. Okay, with the whistle blow, a quick substitution for Williamson. Yes. Coming in is the aforementioned Kyle Johnson, who has hit a 3-pointer earlier and a fadeaway, but then we've never seen him since the second quarter. So lots of interesting moves. 80-80, 9:07 to go. Johnson freezing on him. He guards almost always the toughest ball handler on the other team on a daily basis, does Joel Friesen. Oh, that's a bit of a screen, illegal screen that time. Great block that time by Boyd. And Royce White gets the ball knocked away on a so-called first fast break there. Good recovery. That was a hard, sort of off-balance screen up top there by Anderson.
Yeah, I think Friesen took a lick in there. That was
I think he did, yes.
A very interesting-looking screen set. And then you look on the other end of the floor. Anderson actually might have saved some points here because that was a very good-looking London fast break. Anderson just shut down.
White looking for somebody to come back to the ball. This is Boyd. Nobody follows through. He gets an open look. Even though he's cold off the bench, he makes his 3, and they're up by 3. Anderson hedging his White, trying to stop him from dribble penetration. Back up top. Little ball fake, going hard to the hoop. Drops the ball off for Nastich, unable to convert that time. His left hand, but the littlest guy comes out with the ball, and here comes De Loretto, unable to convert. That hits the top of the backboard, but no call. It's still in play, I guess. Boyd with the ball. Frantic action underneath, but the Orangeville A's unable to convert. Hungarian Jr. back in the game. Easy jump shot from the foul line.
I don't know how the leading scorer for the team you're playing against gets left open like that. Doug Herring Jr. is going to make that 10 times out of 10.
Absolutely. And Anderson, Friesen saves the ball, throws it in the backcourt. Now, I'm not sure what the call is.
I think they're saying over and back
because he had control, I guess.
I don't know how you can call that control on Friesen.
Well, he had enough control to catch it and throw it, I guess. So it's London's possession.
Scooped it over his head.
They're calling it over and back. So that will be Orangeville's ball again. Timeout call by the A's this time. A little bit of a push there by the London Lightning. It wasn't that Orangeville was turning the ball over, it's just that they didn't convert their own possessions, and London did, and that caused a 5-point lead.
Biggest lead London's had all game, and I think this fourth quarter and really entire second half has just been a resilient one from the London Lightning. They've done a good job of making sure they've made their mistakes. I'm not saying it's been perfect, but they've done a good job of managing those mistakes. They've managed a lot of the problems that they had in the first half. And even if they haven't completely eliminated them, they've played within control enough that it never really killed them that much. And I think with Orangeville, they had been doing a good job of the same, but in that last little sequence there, we saw those turnovers and a little bit of lack of discipline show up again.
So, winning ugly maybe is what the London Lightning did yesterday. It reminds me a bit of the Raptors the last couple of games. They're winning ugly. They can play defense, the Raptors, they'll be fine.
Yeah, that was a very ugly win the Lightning pulled out against the KW Titans.
Yes, it was.
But it's a win nonetheless, and you know, a lot of people will talk about that game and even talk about this stretch of 3 days, and I think it's a good thing that in terms of going into the playoffs, that they're now playing some really close games, because we saw earlier in the year London smoking teams.
Yeah, and that's great for getting your place, you know, and chemistry and the flow of the game. But you're going to face adversity, and here's adversity for London Lightning. Even though I wouldn't say it's a meaningless game because it's a league season game, but I mean they're running away with the division. But they need some adversity. I agree, and Orangeville has given all they can handle tonight. I agree with you. Nasic up top. This is Johnson puts the ball down in, trying to push somewhere. There's a travel or a foul, but none called. DiLoretto pushed the ball, nice swing into the corner. Great ball fake. Can he put the 3 down? Unable to convert on the buzzer. DiLoretto comes up with the ball, and he gallops to the hoop and puts it in. Good hustle by DiLoretto.
What a gutsy play. It looks like Joel Friesen a little slow getting up there, but gutsy play from the former Lightning, Enrico DiLoretto.
Kyle Johnson with the ball. Haven't seen too much from him other than a couple possessions early this game, which he did convert. This is Doug Herring Jr., who we've seen lots of. He has a mismatch with DiLoretto. Sort of puts the ball in trouble. Can he make that one? No. Sort of a forced shot. No passes hardly on that possession at all by London. And really, Orangeville's doing all this without Jefferson in the game. Unfortunately, a turnover that time by Johnson. And here comes Jefferson. I noticed him on the sideline and realized he's been sitting for about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yeah, we haven't seen him much at all in this fourth quarter.
Well, that's unfortunate. That was a good dribble penetration by Alex Superman Johnson, but unable to drop the ball off for the big guy.
Keep an eye on this front court of the battle between Royce White and Stefan Nastich. It hasn't really calmed down at all, and we've seen some chippy play from the two of them. Keep an eye on that.
This is Garrett Williamson with the ball, run and turn in the corner. Quick to Julian Boyd. Bit of a fadeaway, awkward shot. Never got his feet set. Defender was on him right away. That was Larry Anderson. DiLoretto with being guarded by Garrett Williamson. Nass is trying to set a high screen. Is he going to take a 3? He is. No, a little too strong. And Royce White boxes him out and gets the rebound. See what kind of set offense they have here now. The game being slowed down again. This is Joel Friesen up top, looking for White underneath. Got Jefferson, taller player on him, but not as strong. And again, he is expecting contact, but he gets his own tip back. He knew he had overshot it and right away tipped it back in. Did Royce White. Good presence of mind. Anderson being hounded by Friesen that time. I think he's getting bothered with that. In the corner it is. Is he going to the hoop? Dropping it off for Nastich, and he makes the easy back. Nice play, dribble penetration by Hollis Jefferson that time.
And again, the A's just seem like a better team when Nastich is involved and playing well.
I agree with you, yeah. He occupies a lot of space and attention. Really a battle of the bigs at the moment down underneath. No, going for the fake, and he's going to do, and that's unnecessary turnover, and there is a foul in there somewhere. Is it going to be on Boyd?
If it's on Boyd, that's 5.
It's down to his last foul, I believe.
That is going to be Julian Boyd. That's 5 on Boyd, 5 on Ryan Anderson. 2 key parts of the London Lightning. Going to have to spend some time on the bench.
Well, at this point in the game, I think coach is going to keep him in, I think. Yes, he is. 5 minutes to go. A 3-point lead for the Lightning. Orangeville possession. This is Harris up top. Looking, all of a sudden he gets a step back 3, and he does not able to bury it, and there is some contact underneath that time.
That's 5 on Cook now.
Daquan Cook throwing Joel Friesen to the floor. It looks like trying to pull him off, but Friesen with his energy is a pest. We know that, and he draws the foul.
So again, lots of guys in sketchy foul situations. We saw Boyd pick up his 5th, now Cook with his 5th. Going to be some troubles going on later in this quarter.
If this goes overtime, there's definitely going to be lots of attrition. Doug Herring Jr. with the ball, taking it to the hoop. He is. Ducks right underneath the larger Anderson.
You know, when Herring gets that step on a defender, he's one of the quickest guards at just getting right around the corner and getting to the basket. Great play by Herring.
This is Anderson kicking the ball back out. Good rotation that time. Nice bounce pass inside. Unable to convert again. Another close-in tip. I think there is a foul over the back, I believe. Could be on Friesen by his reaction.
You know, that over the back hurts too, because Doug Herring Jr. did a real good job of altering that shot. Got a hand in there and cleanly knocked the ball out of Cook's hands. He almost shot it with his wrists because the ball was falling out.
Well, that's 3 or 4 inside possessions that Orangeville has been unable to convert. In the corner, I think he stepped out of bounds. He did. Lots of pressure by Boyd that time. Puts the pressure on Anderson, and he steps out of bounds. Turnover on Orangeville. We got Friesen, Boyd, and we got Royce White, Garrett Williamson, and Doug Herring Jr. on the line for London. A wide open look for Williamson. He takes it to the hoop. I thought there was a foul there as well, but none called. He sticks with it though, and he's working hard, and he gets the putback.
Huge play from Garrett Williamson.
His teammates appreciate it. You can see it. 91-84, 7-point lead, the largest of the game for Lightning. How many times did he tip that ball back to himself? 3 or 4 times, battling with 2 defenders, and then able to convert under pressure.
Just outstanding hustle, and he would not be denied. Garrett Williamson, a real heart and soul player for this team, and he showed all that heart just now.
Able to convert. 7-point lead, it stays. 4 minutes left in the game. Driving to the hoop again. That time, oh, Friesen with his left hand blocks that out of bounds from Anthony Harris. I thought he had a free lane for a second there to the hoop, like we've seen lots of times this game. And Friesen closes it off. Ball way up top to Anderson. This is Jefferson with the ball. I think he needs to have the ball quite a bit more often, to be honest with you, for Orangeville to succeed. That is going to be a charge. It is no less than the heart and soul of the team. You're right, Garrett Williamson taking a beating on both ends of the floor.
And just like that, London has a bit of a foothold now. They've had the lead at times, but easily their biggest lead right now, and at a time where they really needed it. Garrett Williamson able to provide.
Nastich coming in the game. Well, I think it gives some positive encouragement to Orangeville as well. Without one of their clutch players, Justin Moss, they are battling toe-to-toe with the class of really the NBL this year so far, the London Lightning. They give them everything they got on their home court, no less. Nice dunk pass. Royce White, boy, they're a bit of a roll here, 93-84. That's a 9-point lead. See what they do here, taking it to the hoop again, trying to. Little miscommunication, keeps it in bounds. Does Anderson, DiLoretto unable to get it, and Doug Herring Jr. knocks it out of bounds with 14 seconds left on the shot clock yet. I think this is an important possession if they want to stop the momentum of London here for Orangeville to get this basket.
Well, you like to talk about the rubber band, and 10 points is a pretty strong stretch on that rubber band.
This is Nash is taking it to the hoop. That's a definite travel. It's got to be. White stayed with him the whole time. And Nash could not get his foot set to come up with that ball because of the pressure from White.
Pivot foot turned into a slider, and that's going to give London the ball right back there.
Yes.
And I mean, those are 2 great sequences there for the London Lightning. Just excellent work, and Royce White, a big part of that on the offensive end and defensive end. Most impressive part, he hasn't been yapping at all when Nastich tried to get in his face earlier.
Doug Herring Jr. showing some tenacity as well. I think it's rubbing off. Garrett Williamson's spark rubbing off on his teammates. That time Doug Herring Jr. staying with it. It's an 11-point game. That rubber band's getting tighter and tighter. Tipping in the corner, almost lost his balance. Bit of a turner. I'm not sure what's going on there with Hollis Jefferson. He was being hounded by Boyd, I think. I don't know if that's a foul on Boyd.
That's 6 on
That
Boyd.
is 6. That's what I thought. Yeah, so he's out. Jefferson was sort of pinned down there, and Boyd sort of bailed him out a little bit.
It's too bad for the Lightning because they've had so much momentum building with this lineup in the game.
And our first look at Marvin Singleton.
Interesting time to bring Marvin in.
They're looking for some physicality, I think. He'll bring
I would
that
say
to him.
so.
Maybe not the height, but he's definitely got the physicality. Corner goes, Orangeville with the ball up top with Harris. A little behind the back dribble. Gives it to Nastich. That's a great little play. Put it up high for Nastich. He quickly floats it into the basket. Cuts the lead to 9. Harris trying to hound Doug Herring Jr., who really has been consistent all game. Taking it to the hoop again. Absorbed the contact. Unable to float it off high enough off the backboard. Put it in. Nastich gets a rebound in the corner. Tipping with lots of time. Unable to convert. Friesen unable to hang on to it. Throws it in the corner to Jefferson. Herring's trying to slow him down. Anderson up top with Joel. He just slides out of the way. Looks like he lost his footing. A nice easy basket for Anderson. Taking hard.
I think he hit the ice that Stefan Nastich's pivot foot was on earlier.
Yes. Well, it's less than 2 minutes to go, so it's all going to be about possession time now. In London, manage the clock. Little step over dribble, unable to convert. Jefferson with the ball, pushing the ball hard. Looking for tipping again. Another three-point attempt. He does make it that time. Cuts it to 4 with a minute and a half to go. Orangeville is not out of this. It was an 11-point lead not more than 40 seconds ago.
And that momentum pendulum swings back and forth. This time Orangeville gets a nice run. They still have some work to do, though.
Just need to manage the clock. This is a long three by Singleton, who just came into the game. You think they could have got a better shot than that. Let's see. And a quick three-point shot, which I thought was unnecessary as well by Harris. I know he's trying to get some more possessions, but he didn't look comfortable shooting it.
He also didn't have anyone under the cylinder.
He did. Nobody was beyond him. So wasted possession by both teams there, and the only winner is the clock. It goes off for London Lightning. Williamson taking it to the hole that time, keeping his control. Right over top of tipping. I think tipping a little bit worse for wear there. I'm not sure what happened that time. Definitely looking down at his knee there as if he jammed it or something. 97-91, 6-point lead again. So after all that, the Lightning with a burst to jump into the lead. Orangeville resilient enough to pull it back within 4. Then a couple ill-advised possessions, and Garrett Williamson with a clutch layup with 49 seconds to go puts London up by 6. Orangeville holding London to under 100 points yet so far. They are averaging, I think, 115 points a game, so nearly 20 points under London average. Good job by the Orangeville A's defense.
You know, John, we've called a lot of games here in London, and I think this year this might be one of the best games we've called.
Yeah, I like it. It's maybe not the best executed game by either team, but they've been going back and forth. No one willing to give in. Each one really digging into the well, you know, to see where can we get the next basket from. And so I like it. So, 6-point lead. Orangeville hanging in there. It's going to be Orangeville ball. The crowd, I don't think that's the crowd. Although they're into it, yep, they like this music. And they got lots to cheer about the last few minutes. Well, the Lightning dipping into their reserves, including their bench, with all the foul trouble they're in. They're coming out with Williamson and White, Friesen, Herring, and Marvin Singleton. Who will the Orangeville A's counter with? Anthony Harris, Stefan Nastich, Jameson Tipping, Raleigh, Hollis Jefferson, and who's the last player coming on? That is Larry Anderson for the Orangeville A's. So I think they'll need to get something fairly quickly here. Not to let too much time run off the clock, but they need a good shot. London doing a good job denying so far. Good crossover dribble and met at the basket by Singleton. I think because he had his knee up, that's why they call the foul. If he had gone straight up, that was a great block by Singleton that time on the good help defense. Great dribble penetration again by Anthony Harris. That's been happening all night.
And even then, the foul's not a terrible outcome for the London Lightning on that play. You still hold them to potentially 2 points.
Yes, he's got to make both the charity stripe shots.
Make them earn it.
Yeah,
Don't just give them the 2.
That's it. No freebies. All right, so that took 7 seconds off the clock, so good job by Orangeville that time. 97-91.
Couldn't see. Oh, pardon me. I thought Williamson was going off there.
Not sure why the referees are waiting so patiently here, but the man's on the line waiting for the ball. Unable to convert. What's their conversion rate tonight from the free throw?
70% up until that one.
Okay.
It's going to go down.
14 for 21 then. 7 points left at the line. And too strong the second one, but gets his own rebound. Takes it to the hoop. He got nowhere to go. Has to kick it back out. And that's Alex Johnson. Now we got free shot here for Jefferson. Unable to convert. And Doug Herring Jr. grabs a rebound in the box out on the much smaller Alex Johnson. Good look there by Hollis Jefferson, just unable to convert. Good job by the little guys getting the rebound. Getting his own miss at Harris. Kicking it back out for the open look. Couldn't ask for much more, could Orangeville A's.
No, they got a really fortunate break that amidst the chaos, Relier Hollis Jefferson was able to drift out past the line. You had your best scorer with a shot wide open. That's just an unfortunate outcome.
So 26 seconds left. Try to make this a 3-possession game. No, sir. Doug Herring Jr. uncharacteristically missed his foul shot. He's an excellent free throw shooter.
Having a perfect game at the stripe till then.
I don't miss much, do I? Well, I do miss some stuff. You catch me all the time, so that's good. He misses both that time. Oh, my goodness. And who's in there? Phillips and Nastich both going for the rebound. Phillips able to corral that with Nastich over top of him. That's going to be Orangeville ball, I believe, on the possession arrow. Phillips did a great job ducking in for that rebound. Nearly stole it.
Did about everything he could to get that ball back for the London Lightning.
Full court pressure here by the Lightning. Good idea is eat up some clock if they can. Friesen, Garden, Harris. What's Harris going to do? Try and get to the hoop again. Throws in the corner for the wide open tipping off his back foot that time. He had a little more time than he thought, and Williamson doing a good thing here. Just letting the clock run out. And he's going to dunk it for the final basket. 99-91, 6 seconds left. Anderson with the ball up top. Maybe give it to Nastich for the last. Dunk it is Orangeville, fittingly for Orangeville. 1.2 seconds left. And that's the ball game. 99-93, a hard-fought battle between two division rivals, the Orangeville A's and the London Lightning. Lightning squeak out or battle out or whatever you want to say, another ugly win if you want to call it. But they show a lot of grit and determination, I must say, up and down the bench. And that really helps, I think. Adversity, I agree, is needed for the playoffs in order to get mentally tough enough.
I wouldn't even say it was necessarily an ugly game for them. I think the first half was ugly, but that second half, that's what playoff basketball is going to be like.
I agree,
for them.
Yeah. And I think give credit to the Orangeville A's for bringing that intensity level here to the Budweiser Gardens. All right, so final score 99-93. London Lightning win over the Orangeville A's. I'm Jonathan Howling and Chris Croucher from the Budweiser Gardens. We'll see you at the next home game for the London Lightning.
In just a bit, I think we're going to go down to Aaron Sanders and Justin Prince for the halftime show. They're picking a spot.
Okay. Well, thanks, partner. That's good game. Yeah, have fun.
Any more comments on us?
Nope.
Nope. All right. Well, it must do all right then.
All right, 99-93 is the final, gentlemen. The London Lightning stave off a second home loss here at Budweiser Gardens. We're here for the Knoxville postgame. JP, a lot of things to talk about. Number one, Doug Herring Jr., give the game ball to him. He really revitalized this London team when they were in desperate need of it, and boy, did he do that.
Indeed, right now 26 points on the night, and London definitely needed him to produce like he did tonight. Definitely 10 of 19 shooting, brought the momentum for this team, and also helping to step up down the clutch as well with players like Garrett Williamson, of course, as you've seen. I don't think without Doug Herring, London would even be close to winning this game tonight here. I think he was the main contributor by far momentum-wise, and to keep this game close, then Garrett Williamson helped seal the deal down the stretch.
But then again, you look at the three-point game, and it shows a very big similarity. Both clubs shooting very gruesome from the three-point range. London shooting 18%, London shooting 25%. So, of course, that mirrors how they played yesterday. But at the end of the day, you look at it, and the points of the paint was very close, 56-54. That goes to the London Lightning. Bench scoring, give it to the Orangeville A's, 57 points compared to London's 31. So no matter how much they went deep into their bench, they couldn't pull it off.
Yeah, indeed, right now, they just did not have the energy, enthusiasm that London had coming out of that locker room, because it seemed London fixed most of their problems they had coming out of that halftime huddle. That's for sure right now, because they were struggling with shooting a lot. The shooting percentage went down slightly, of course, but they started making more high percentage shots, getting a lot more momentum plays and ones, and forcing a lot more turnovers. 25 turnovers for Orangeville tonight. London also had that issue with 23 themselves, but they were still able to come out on top, outscoring Orangeville in both quarters here in the second half. They were able to keep up with that momentum that they had coming into halftime, and they were able to secure this victory down the stretch with that said momentum. The adjustments that they made were definitely key, especially Doug Herring Jr., and especially that energy burst they needed to take that step to get the win.
Added another Royce White double-double, 19 points, 10 rebounds. You know, typical game for him. I mean, ask me. But with this, the London Lightning sweep their three-game series. Now they can rest. They could finally rest because they don't have to play until they go back to the Institute Sunday. Next time they're here is April 1st, April Fool's Day, against their 401 rivals, the Windsor Express. So what do you have to take in if you're the Lightning, but what do you have to improve on if you're them as well?
Well, you have to take in right now that, honestly, it's a three-game and three-day stretch, I should say. Mm-hmm. They were very tired, of course, coming into this game, and they were able to get the energy they needed in the second half. That being said, I think they're relieved with this break. They'll have the time to look over the mistakes they made, look over what they need to adjust when it comes down to the final grinds and for what you have to do come playoff time, energy-wise, and chance to fix whatever issues you have. Like the rebounding, they were out-rebounded by 6 tonight. Like you mentioned, they struggled from three-point range. They got to fix that coming to the next game. Because they went down from their average big time from about 38% I should say on the season, down to 25.9 for this one. So a lot of adjustments have to be made, I think, if you're London. If you're Orangeville, meanwhile, you got to win against Windsor if you want to have a shot in the standings, because they are now tied for third with Kitchener-Waterloo after this loss here. Mm-hmm. If Orangeville loses on Wednesday and Kitchener-Waterloo, who's playing Niagara, wins, Kitchener-Waterloo moves to third, Orangeville moves to fourth. So this finish, Orangeville needed a must-win situation here to help improve their standings rankings. Now they're at risk of falling to the 4th seed, and it's going to get very close against a team like Niagara, who's starting to improve now down the late stretch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and a lot of playoff implications on the line, like JP stated out right now. Orangeville, they now lost 5 of their last 6 games. They dropped to 11-16. London Lightning, 24-4. They have won 6 in a row, possibly with no end in sight, considering they have a long break now. We'll see you back at Windsor Wednesday night, where the aforementioned Orangeville A's come into the WFCU Center to play against the Windsor Express. Next game at Budweiser Gardens will be April 1st. That is no joke, against the Windsor Express. So 2 major games, and Knockstrom.tv will have you covered. Once again, the final score, London Lightning 99. Orangeville East 93. We'll see you folks in just about 48 hours, but behave yourself until then, okay? This has been a presentation of Knockstrom Digital Media, producing the media excellence in Southern Ontario. Until Wednesday night, for JP Justin Prince, this be Aaron Sanders saying so long from the Forest City.